mission. Huh? What's the story?
Oh, just your average Tuesday over in Ukraine. Apparently, they've taken volunteering to a whole new level. I mean, who doesn't love a surprise military recruitment right in their living room? It's like those door-to-door salesmen, but with tanks. Nothing screams freedom louder than knocking on someone's door and saying, "Hey, hope you're not too comfortable, but you're coming with us to liberate Moscow." What's next? A bake sale to fund the liberation.
What do you think motivated Ukrainian forces to take such drastic measures?
Well, I think it's clear they've run out of patience and are now auditioning for the next big action movie, Home Invasion, The Redemption. Maybe they thought, why not spice up the typical recruitment process with a little home invasion flair? It's like they're trying to make it trendy. Who needs the fancy posters and slogans when you can just storm somebody's home? It's very intimate. And honestly, who could resist saving the world when you're practically forced to do it in your pajamas?
What kind of response is expected from the Russian side regarding this incident?
Oh, I can only imagine. They're probably plotting their next big Netflix-style response, complete with dramatic music and possibly some very public eye-rolling. Oh great, now they're sending people in pajamas to fight us. It's like a bizarre reality show. Expect to see an emergency meeting where they all sit around and wish they had a better PR team. Let's face it, they might just respond with a series of increasingly bizarre Instagram posts, because nothing says diplomacy like memes.
Is there an implication here about the lengths countries will go to during a conflict?
Absolutely. This incident screams, desperate times call for desperate measures. It's like trying to win over your crush by showing up at their house uninvited, awkward and possibly illegal. This is a reminder that in the grand scheme of international relations, common sense and personal boundaries are just suggestions. The just show up tactic is apparently back in style, folks. Who knew the international stage would resemble a bad dating show?
What do you think this means for the morale on both sides?
Morale. Oh, it's about to get as confusing as a GPS with a breakdown. On one side, you've got people thinking, whoa, they want me to liberate Moscow? I've got a Netflix binge scheduled. And on the other side, I can see Russians chuckling in disbelief. Did they really just knock on doors like the pizza delivery of freedom? It's like a massive psychological chess game. But everyone forgot the rules. And now they're just playing checkers with real tanks. Someone passed the popcorn.
What's the bigger picture we should take away from such a dramatic event?
Well, for starters, we should all probably invest in better door locks. But in all seriousness, this is a clear illustration of how absurd and chaotic modern conflict can get. It's not just military strategies anymore. It's about the wild adaptations of both sides, like they're in some sort of twisted game show. The bigger picture? Maybe we should start designing diplomatic agreements that don't involve surprise visits from armed forces. Unless, of course, we're talking about pizza delivery then, by all means.
So, can you tell us what's happening with the Israeli helicopters rushing to evacuate injured soldiers from Lebanon?
Yes, the ever-reliable choppers swooping in like superheroes, minus the spandex and capes, of course. It seems like they're playing a high-stakes game of who can save the most lives before lunch break over in southern Lebanon. I mean, just when you think you've graduated from the school of drama, they keep throwing in more plot twists. Nothing says we're under pressure like a helicopter making a beeline for the nearest hospital. Let's just hope they aren't complete amateurs. And by amateurs, I mean no one wants to see a helicopter confused about where the hospitals are. It's not rocket science, right?
What does this escalation mean for the region?
Oh, just your standard Tuesday in the Middle East. This whole scenario could be a scene straight out of a blockbuster movie. Lots of explosions, heroic rescues, and a pinch of chaos. So if you think things were already spicy enough, hold on to your hats. The escalation means more parties trying to play chess, while everyone else is just trying not to get caught in the crossfire. It's like a family reunion where Uncle Bob keeps arguing with Aunt Karen. But instead of awkward silence, you've got actual helicopters involved. Fun times ahead.
How are the local communities responding to all of this?
Well, imagine a neighborhood watch, but instead of baking cookies, they're hunkering down with binoculars and a radio. Yeah, the local communities are probably looking out the window like they're watching a live-action soap opera, except the stakes are a bit higher than who's dating who. You've got some folks organizing supplies, while others are just trying to figure out if they're in a movie or a really long news cycle. I mean, they might as well hand out popcorn because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh, what's the international reaction to this conflict escalation?
Oh, the international reaction? It's like watching a bunch of online influencers try to weigh in on a serious topic. Lots of opinions, minimal action. You've got some countries shaking their heads disapprovingly, like they just caught someone double dipping at a party, and others tweeting their hot takes as if they're just waiting for the next viral trend. Meanwhile, the IUN is probably holding an emergency meeting, that feels more like a corporate retreat where everyone pretends to care while secretly scrolling through their phones. So sit back and grab some popcorn. It's going to be a show.
What should we expect next in this situation?
Oh, you can expect a roller coaster ride, my friend. More twists than a pretzel factory. We're talking about potential talks, fiery speeches, and maybe a few ceasefire agreements that last about as long as a sneeze. I mean, if you've ever seen the pause button on a remote control, you know it's about as reliable as politicians making promises. So, gear up, folks. It's like we're all part of a reality show where no one knows who's getting kicked off next, but the drama's real.
Well, is there anything we can do to help the situation?
That's a million-dollar question, isn't it? Unless you have a spare helicopter and a direct line to some influential diplomats, we might just have to stick to sharing information and hoping for the best. Maybe send some positive vibes into the universe or donate to humanitarian causes. It's about as effective as trying to calm a rabid squirrel with a gentle whisper. But hey, every little bit counts, right? So, if you see a peaceful protest or a charity drive, think of it as your way of playing a tiny role in a much larger play. And no, you don't get a curtain call for that, but at least you can feel good about it.
So let's talk about this shocking news. Israel's destruction of a historic monastery and school in the southern Lebanese village of Yarun. Wow. What are your thoughts?
Ah yes, because nothing says peaceful coexistence quite like bulldozing a centuries-old monastery and school. I mean, who needs a historical landmark, right? It's not like local villagers were using it for anything as trivial as education or cultural heritage. It's almost as if they woke up one morning and thought, hey, let's go full wrecking ball on some ancient architecture. That'll really show them, honestly. It's like they're trying to win the world championship of bad public relations.
What could possibly be the reasoning behind such an action?
Well, you see, destroying historical sites is a time-honored tradition for making a statement. It's like saying, we're making our mark on history, one demolished building at a time. You've got to admire the commitment to obsolescence. Apparently, they figured it'd be a great way to eliminate those pesky reminders of centuries-old conflicts. Because what could be better than a blank slate, right? I guess history is just like a bad haircut. Sometimes you've just got to shave it all off and start over.
How is this destruction likely to affect the local community?
Just the usual existential crisis that comes with losing your cultural identity overnight. Nothing says community bonding quite like collectively mourning the loss of your treasured monastery and school. They'll probably turn this into a group therapy session. Picture a bunch of villagers sitting around saying, remember the good old days when we had a place to learn and connect with our history? Now, we just have rubble and memories. Yay, it's bound to be a real crowd pleaser.
What could be done to prevent similar incidents in the future?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we could start with a little thing called diplomacy, the age-old practice of talking things out instead of sending in the bulldozers. It's wild, really. Imagine if they had a let's not wreck monuments policy. The world would practically be at peace. Or how about a global no demolishing monasteries day? We could rally around it. Everyone wears hard hats, but for protection against falling historical debris. Sounds like a blast, right?
How should the international community respond to this?
Well, the international community is like that friend who shows up late to a party and only when they smell the popcorn burning. They'll probably issue a sternly worded tweet or two, followed by a let's all just get along, shall we? Meanwhile, actual people are standing in the rubble wondering what happened to their lives. Maybe they'll send a strongly worded letter, but one with a lot of exclamation marks to really drive the point home. Because nothing says, we care, quite like punctuation.
What does this signify for the future of historical preservation in conflict zones?
Oh, it signifies a bright future indeed. If by bright you mean a dystopian landscape where history is eroded faster than your New Year's resolutions. Historical preservation in conflict zones is like trying to keep a sandcastle intact during a tsunami. Spoiler alert, it's not going to go well. But hey, at least it gives artists new subject matter. Destruction of cultural heritage could totally be a hit exhibition. People love modern art based on misery.
So I see Hezbollah's undetectable drones are causing quite the ruckus for Israeli forces. Can you give us the scoop on this?
Oh, absolutely. It's like sending a surprise party invitation to someone you don't even like, and then they show up with gifts. These undetectable drones are flying around like the Kardashians at a fashion show, causing chaos and heartbreak left and right. Israel is probably wishing they had invested in better Wi-Fi instead of new tanks. I mean, who knew that a drone, which is basically a glorified flying toaster, could turn the battlefield into a giant game of hide and seek? It's all fun and games until you forget to tell the toaster to stay at home.
What are you thinking about the ongoing conflict in southern Lebanon and the tactics both sides are using?
It's like watching two kids squabble over the last cookie while the cookie jar is clearly marked "Do Not Touch." Both sides are throwing punches like they're auditioning for a reality TV show. One side sending drones like they're handing out flyers for a block party, while the other is trying to set up a perimeter like it's a game of telephone. And let's not forget, this isn't just about cookies. It's about territory, pride, and who gets the last say in how to break the rules. Spoiler alert, nobody's winning the cookie jar here.
What do you think the implications of these undetectable drones could be for future conflicts?
Well, if we're talking implications, these drones might as well be the newest iPhone. Everyone will want one, and the rest of us will be left in the dust, like your grandma trying to figure out a smartphone. These gadgets are game changers, transforming how wars are fought. It's like if you added rocket science to a game of chess, you think you're just moving pawns. But suddenly, you've got tanks and lasers involved. Next thing you know, both sides will have more drones than they can handle, and we'll be left wondering if we're watching a war or the latest blockbuster sci-fi movie.
Or is there a chance that this escalates into something bigger?
Oh, definitely. We're basically one drone malfunction away from a full-blown soap opera here. Picture this. The plot thickens, tensions rise, and suddenly everyone's dialing up their military contacts faster than you can say "world peace." It's a classic case of hold my beer moment, where each side ups the ante until we're caught in a never-ending loop of retaliation. It could spiral out of control, like the neighbor's dog that keeps barking until someone throws a shoe at it and then the shoe gets returned. And now everyone's just barking up the wrong tree.
How should the international community respond to this situation?
The international community, the world's awkward uncle who always shows up at the party late and slightly tipsy. You know they'll throw out some statements, maybe even a stern lecture or two. But at the end of the day, it's all talk and no action. They'll send their condolences and play a round of who's more supportive. While the situation deteriorates faster than bad reality TV, they could address it like they address climate change. Lots of conference meetings, and then everyone goes back to business as usual. Meanwhile, two countries are battling it out like it's the season finale of a show no one asked for.
What's next for Hezbollah and Israeli forces, do you think?
Oh, that's a crystal ball question, isn't it? If I had $1 for every time I've tried to predict the next plot twist in geopolitics, I'd be living in a beachfront villa with no stress. But honestly, it's like watching a high-stakes poker game where no one's quite sure what cards they're holding. Both sides will likely continue to escalate their tactics, maybe throw in some unexpected moves as if they're playing a live-action version of chess. You know, the kind where the pawns suddenly become queens just because it's more dramatic. Buckle up, folks. This roller coaster is just getting started.
So it seems Russian forces have launched devastating attacks on Ukraine's military infrastructure, inflicting heavy casualties. What do you think about this situation?
Just your typical Tuesday in international relations. I mean, who needs peace when you can have airstrikes? It's like they took a page out of the How to Win Friends and Influence People book and decided to skip to how to make enemies and ruin lives. The Russian Defense Ministry's report reads like a tragic novel where the hero, that's Ukraine, by the way, keeps getting dumped on by the villain. I'm starting to think the only thing being built in Ukraine's military infrastructure is a stronger resolve to survive. Heavy casualties? More like a heavy sigh, because how many times can we watch this movie play out?
What do you think about the statement regarding the 505 drones and 2 HIMARS rockets shot down? Is that a significant achievement?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, knocking down 505 drones is like swatting flies at a picnic. You feel accomplished for a moment until you realize there's a whole swarm still buzzing around. And the 2 HIMARS rockets, that's like when you play chess and manage to capture your opponent's pawns while they take your queen and king out for dinner. It's all about perspective, right? On one hand, you've got the Russians patting themselves on the back, while on the other, Ukraine's probably going, well, we'll just have to order more drones, won't we? It's a real game of drone whack-a-mole, and it seems like the moles are winning.
Oi, can you believe they've shot down over 140,000 Ukrainian drones since the start of the operation? What does that say about the situation?
140,000 drones down, wow. That's some serious drone killing prowess. It's like saying they've taken down the entire cast of a drone-themed reality show. I mean, at this point, I'd be worried about sourcing enough materials for replacement drones. Are they getting them in bulk from some off-brand Amazon? It's sort of like that one friend who plays video games and has a kill count that could fill a stadium. But when you add up the numbers, you have to wonder, how many drones does one country need before they start investing in anti-drone therapy sessions? After a while, it just feels like a high-tech game of dodgeball, and the score isn't looking good for Ukraine.
The report mentioned the capture of Myropilya village by Russian forces. What implications does this have?
Amiropilia sounds like a fantastic vacation destination, doesn't it? But it's more like my oh my, we're in a pickle. The capture of a village is like a kid winning a game of Monopoly. Sure, they may have landed on boardwalk, but it's not like they're rolling in cash just yet. It's a strategic move, sure, but one village doesn't win the war. It's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. The implications could ripple through the morale and tactics of both sides, but at the end of the day, it's just another plot twist in a story that keeps getting worse. I mean, come on, how many times can you hear, we have a new village? We need some popcorn to watch this series unfold.
Quack. With Ukraine reportedly losing around 1,195 servicemen in just a day, how does that reflect on the overall conflict?
Well, if we're handing out numbers like candy at a parade, 1,195 servicemen in a day is a staggering figure. That's not just a statistic. That's like saying, oh, by the way, we just lost an entire football team. And we're not talking about second stringers here. This raises serious concerns about the sustainability of Ukraine's defense. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with a giant hole in it. No matter how much water you pour in, it just keeps draining out. It's painful to even think about the human cost behind those numbers. The conflict seems to be dragging on longer than a bad relationship, and here we are, still waiting for a peace talk that feels like it's been forever postponed, like the sequel no one asked for.
Or what can we expect next in this ongoing conflict based on the current reports?
Oh boy, if I had a crystal ball, I'd be rich, but seeing as I don't, my best guess is that we can expect more drama than a soap opera. With all this infrastructure targeting, it feels like both sides are playing an intense game of chess, minus the rule that you should avoid making your opponent cry. More attacks, more counterattacks, probably a few more villages will be captured, and we'll be here holding our collective breath, waiting for the next bombshell news alert. It's like a roller coaster that refuses to get off the tracks. So grab your popcorn, folks. This show is far from over, and I'd bet my last dollar that the cliffhangers just keep getting better.
Quack. Shocking escalation in geopolitical tensions.
Ah yes, nothing says we're overreacting quite like dropping 9 bombs on a single bridge. I mean, who needs a bridge when you can just vaporize it into a cloud of dust and confusion? It really gives collateral damage a new twist, doesn't it? I can just picture the military strategists sitting around a table. So guys, we were thinking of sending flowers, but how about we rain down a 9-piece explosion set instead? That'll show them. I hope that bridge was in their budget, because it'll be hard to explain this to the accountant.
What do you think the international community's reaction will be to such a drastic action?
Oh, they'll be thrilled, I mean. Who doesn't love a bit of international drama? It's like watching a soap opera, but in Lakhdidi with real explosions. Countries will be issuing sternly worded letters faster than you can say, we're not really sure what we're doing here. You can almost hear the diplomatic whispers. Did they just drop 9 bombs on a bridge? What are we supposed to do with that? Send them a gift basket? Because nothing heals geopolitical tensions like a selection of fine cheeses and crackers.
This type of escalation seems unusual. What's behind it?
Well, if I had $1 for every time someone claimed it was unusual, I'd be rich enough to buy my own country and solve all these problems myself. Seriously though, maybe it's a new trend in military tactics, bombing for peace. Picture it, we can't just send a simple message. We have to go big or go home. It's like ordering a salad and then deciding to get the largest pizza on the menu instead. Clearly someone had a little too much caffeine and decided that subtlety wasn't their strong suit.
How do you think this decision will have any long-term consequences?
Oh, absolutely. Long-term consequences are like those annoying relatives you can't shake off at family gatherings, always lurking in the background, causing awkward conversations. This will serve as a lovely reminder to everyone that geopolitics is more like a game of Jenga. Pull one piece out too aggressively, and the whole thing might come crashing down. I wouldn't be surprised if the next summit has everyone sitting around a table with a bomb diffuser in the middle, just to keep things interesting.
What precautions should other countries take in response to this incident?
Well, perhaps they should all invest in very sturdy bridge construction, just in case. I mean, who wouldn't want to be the country with the bomb-proof infrastructure? Oh, you dropped 9 bombs? Cute. We just finished our nuclear-grade bridge over here. In reality, they should probably sit down, drink some chamomile tea, and reflect on how to avoid getting embroiled in the next episode of World Leaders Gone Wild. Because let's be honest, that's where we're heading at this point.
What message does this send to both allies and enemies?
The message is as clear as mud. It's like sending a birthday card that just says surprise. Nobody really knows what to think. Allies might feel comforted, like getting a bear hug from a grizzly, while enemies are probably quaking in their boots, wondering if they should invest in those bridge building courses. Or they could just take it as a cue that they need to sharpen their bomb dodging skills. Either way, it's a reminder that we're not in a playground anymore. We're dealing with adults who think playing with explosives is a valid tactic.
So, it seems like Chinese and Indian warships have decided to take a little joyride through Iran's Hormuz Strait. What does this mean for international relations?
Yes, nothing says. Let's all be friends quite like a parade of warships cruising through a narrow strait like it's the latest hot vacation spot. I mean, who needs a beach resort when you have geopolitical tensions and military posturing? It's like hosting a dinner party where everyone brings their own weaponry instead of a bottle of wine. So charming. This spectacle is basically the naval version of those guys who drive fancy sports cars just to show off. They're revving their engines while the rest of us still can't figure out how to parallel park.
What impact do you think this bold naval maneuver will have on global oil markets?
Oh, it's bound to have the subtlety of a bull in a china shop. I mean, the strait is a crucial choke point for oil shipments. So when two major powers flex their naval muscles, it's like throwing a rock into a pond. The ripples are going to be felt everywhere, including in your gas tank. Expect prices to fluctuate like a teenager's mood swings. You might want to buy a bicycle, because at this rate, filling up your car could become a luxury akin to dining at a 5-star restaurant, just without the complimentary breadsticks.
What are the broader implications of this naval display?
Broader implications? Oh, just a casual reminder that the world is essentially a high-stakes game of chess, except most of us aren't really sure how to play, and some players are just flipping the board over when they don't like what's happening. It's like watching your friends play poker, but instead of cards, they're using armed vessels and oil. And sure, it's all fun and games until someone loses a battleship. The real losers. Us, regular folks who just want to enjoy a peaceful Wednesday, without worrying if our lunch will come with a side of international conflict.
How do you think this situation is going to escalate further? Or are we just witnessing another episode of naval theater?
Oh, we're definitely on the brink of a dramatic sequel. It's like watching a soap opera where the plot never really resolves, but keeps throwing in new characters and cliffhangers. Will they or won't they has never been more relevant. It's a delicate dance, with each country stepping on the toes of the other. And honestly, who doesn't love a little political theater? Just pass the popcorn and brace for the next episode where someone inevitably does something reckless, because nothing says peaceful coexistence like a few warships and a whole lot of glowering.
How should countries respond to this kind of provocation without escalating tensions?
Yes, the age-old question, how to handle a neighbor who's revving their motorcycle at 3 a.m. without turning into a brawl. It's essentially like trying to defuse a bomb while performing a dance routine. The ideal response is to engage in dialogue, but let's be real, that's a lot harder than it sounds. Most countries end up doing the equivalent of throwing a glass of water on a grease fire. It's messy, and you're likely to get burned. So instead, they'll probably just send out diplomatic notes that read something like, "Hey, could you not? Thanks," with a side of passive-aggressive emojis.
In conclusion, what should we keep an eye on moving forward in this situation?
Well, just like you keep an eye on that weird neighbor who always seems to be up to something, we need to keep our proverbial peepers peeled for any unexpected moves. Look out for media spin sun alliances and possibly a reality show about naval maneuvers. I can see it now. Keeping up with the warships. Plus, monitoring oil prices is crucial, because that could send shockwaves through the economy faster than a caffeinated squirrel. So sit back, munch on some popcorn, and prepare for the next twist in this thrilling geopolitical saga. It's bound to be a wild ride.
So, it sounds like Russian forces are really stepping up their game against Ukraine with these strikes. What are your thoughts on this situation?
Oh, just your typical Tuesday in the geopolitical playground. It's like a game of chess, where one side decided to just knock over the board and yell checkmate, while the other side is still figuring out how to move the pawns. I mean, attacking military infrastructure is about as subtle as trying to hide a giraffe in a phone booth. The Russians really seem to have taken this whole break-a-leg advice a bit too literally, and poor Ukraine is left scrambling to fix their defense systems like it's an IKEA assembly gone terribly wrong.
What does this mean for Ukraine's defense capabilities moving forward?
Well, if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say ouch! But let's dive deeper. This is like taking a toothpick to a piñata. Eventually, that candy is going to fall out, and it won't be pretty. Ukraine's defense might feel a bit like a game of whack-a-mole right now, where every time they fix one problem, 3 more pop up. They're going to need more than duct tape and sheer willpower to patch this one up. Maybe a miracle or two wouldn't hurt. Either that, or a really good sales pitch to the international community for some serious upgrades.
How has the international community reacted to these attacks?
Yes, the international community, the world's most awkward group chat. You know they're all sitting there, typing up a storm, but not quite hitting send. It's like watching a bunch of teenagers deliberating on who should ask the prom date while everyone is just standing around, twiddling their thumbs. Some countries are probably drafting sternly worded letters, while others are just looking to sell arms like they're at a garage sale. You can bet they're trying to balance being concerned with not wanting to get too involved. It's a real tightrope walk, and let's be honest, some of them might just fall off and land on the let's not make this worse side.
What about the effectiveness of Ukraine's defense systems in this situation?
Oh, the effectiveness, what a loaded question. It's a bit like asking if a screen door is effective on a submarine. They shot down a few drones and missiles, which is great, but it's a bit like claiming victory because you managed to keep a goldfish alive while your dog is munching on the sofa. Ukraine's defense systems are doing what they can, but against a full-on assault, it's like trying to stop a tsunami with a bucket. They're patching up holes while water is gushing in from all sides. Though let's give them credit, they're doing their best to not drown.
What might be the next steps for both Russia and Ukraine in this ongoing conflict?
Well, my crystal ball is a bit foggy, but if I had to guess, it's like watching two people at a dance-off who both had one too many energy drinks. Russia might continue to flex its muscles, trying to show off like it's at the gym, while Ukraine scrambles to keep up, doing whatever they can to not trip over their own feet. We could see more of these strikes or perhaps some attempts at negotiations, where both sides sit down, sip some lukewarm coffee, and pretend they're not at each other's throats. Meanwhile, the rest of the world will be tuning in, popcorn in hand, praying it doesn't turn into a reality show that no one asked for.
How do you see this impacting everyday people in Ukraine?
Oh, the everyday folks, bless their hearts. It's like living in a bad action movie where the main character isn't even the hero. They're just trying to avoid getting blown up in the background. They're dodging bombs like it's a game of dodgeball, except the stakes are way higher than a detention slip. People are adapting, finding ways to carry on like they're putting on a brave face at a family reunion where everyone's asking about your love life. But in reality, they're trying to manage grocery shopping with one hand, while the other hand is covering their ears from the latest explosions. It's a surreal mix of resilience and anxiety, and if that doesn't win them an Oscar for best performance in a crisis, I don't know what will.
So Israel just airstrikes on Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, causing quite a ruckus? What's going on there?
Well, you know how sometimes you just have to smash a few eggs to make an omelette? Israel seems to think their kitchen is a war zone. This time they decided to whip up a nice batch of airstrikes, frying Hezbollah militants and turning their infrastructure into a one-way ticket to rubble town. It's like a really intense game of Jenga, where instead of wooden blocks, you have buildings, and the stakes are way higher than just game night bragging rights.
It sounds like they really took out a lot of targets. What does that say about the ongoing conflict in the region?
The ongoing conflict is basically a never-ending soap opera where every episode has a new twist, and most of the characters are armed to the teeth. Israel's recent airstrikes are like the latest season finale, complete with dramatic explosions and cliffhangers. It's hard to say. Tune in next week, because it feels like we're perpetually stuck in this season. The ratings are dropping faster than Hezbollah's infrastructure. If only peace talks could be as explosive as these airstrikes, now that would be must-watch TV.
What do you think the international community's reaction will be to these airstrikes?
Oh, the international community, bless their hearts. It's kind of like watching your parents react to your wild party. There's a mix of disappointment and that awkward attempt to intervene while still wanting to maintain some level of authority. Expect some strong words from various leaders, the kind of rhetoric that could almost go on a motivational poster for diplomacy. Let's talk more, strike less. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they'll shove popcorn in their mouths and secretly enjoy the drama unfolding. It's a classic case of we're not mad, just disappointed, while they secretly pray for good ratings for the next episode of geopolitical chaos.
What kind of implications could this have for the citizens living in the impacted areas?
Yes, the citizens, the real pawns in this game of chess, where the kings seem to have lost their minds. For the folks in southern Lebanon, it's like living in a mixed-up version of a reality show, where the main challenge is survival. They wake up each day hoping for a peaceful breakfast, but instead get served a side of fear and uncertainty. It's like someone decided to turn their neighborhood into a live-action video game, except the only power-up they get is running for your life. Unfortunately, the score isn't looking good, and let's just say civilians aren't exactly leveling up in the happiness department.
With this escalation, do you foresee any potential for further conflict in the region?
Well, absolutely. It's like watching a pot of water boiling. Once it hits that tipping point, you know it's going to overflow, and likely take your favorite kitchen appliance with it. The escalation could lead to a full-blown symphony of chaos, where everyone picks up their instruments and plays an off-key version of Let's Bomb Each Other to smithereens. History has shown us that sometimes the more the merrier, And by that, I mean the more actors in this tragic play, the more complex and tragic the outcome. So grab your popcorn, folks. This show has just been renewed for another season.
Lastly, what do you think the average person should know about this conflict to understand it better?
The average person. You mean the heroes who bravely navigate through headlines without a map? To understand this conflict, they should realize it's not just a simple tale of good versus evil. It's more like a multi-layered lasagna of grievances, history, and hot tempers all getting thrown into a chaotic oven. The key takeaway? Read about it. But don't get too attached to any one side because, frankly, in this drama, everyone's got a backstory that rivals a soap opera plot twist. And remember, while they might think they're in a war, most of us are just trying to find our keys in the morning. So perspective is everything.
So let's talk about this unbelievable revelation regarding Vladimir Putin's family during the Leningrad siege. It's a grim story, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you thought your family gatherings were awkward, try exchanging stories about your ancestors starving to death and your brother being lost forever in an orphanage. It's like a Russian version of the worst family reunion ever. Everyone's longing for a slice of that sweet bread while the kids are playing hide and seek with mortality. And what's a little diphtheria between relatives anyway? Makes you question what's truly at stake when you distract yourself from your own family dramas.
What can you tell us about the impact of the siege on ordinary families back then?
Oh, just the usual catastrophic emotional fare. Families were torn apart like a Netflix original series nobody asked for. Picture it. You're trying to feed your kid, but bread has the same value as a rare diamond. And when hospital visits feel more like a goodbye party than a health checkup, well, that's just the cherry on the cake of despair. I mean, who knew that being a parent in a siege could also double as a crash course in sacrifice and existential dread? Quite the parenting seminar.
What does it say about resilience during such dire times?
Resilience, the word we throw around when we want to feel good about suffering. During the siege, it was the adult equivalent of I'll just take one more cookie even though I'm on a diet. You know you shouldn't, but there you are, determined to survive. The citizens of Leningrad were practically MacGyvers with a side of Iron Man, saving monuments with sandbags while their own lives crumbled around them. Who knew that desperation could fuel such creativity? Makes you want to step up your survival game, doesn't it?
The statistics regarding the death toll are staggering. How does that impact our perception of historical tragedies?
Well, when you throw around numbers like 800,000, it makes you want to curl up in a corner with a pint of ice cream and your favorite series. Because why face reality when there are fictional worlds to escape to? It's like trying to calculate the number of jelly beans in a jar but more morbid. History can be a real downer, and sometimes we just want to put a please no more sign on every tragic event. But those numbers remind us those were real lives, not just entries on a spreadsheet.
What was the role of children during the siege, like the young Nina Sigal?
Oh, Nina was basically running a mini boot camp for survival. While most kids were playing hopscotch and learning their times tables, she was learning how to mix up Molotov cocktails like they were fancy cocktails at a bar. Talk about an early introduction to fun with fire. It really shows that the line between childhood innocence and harsh realities can blur quicker than you can say child soldier. It's not exactly the Lego sets and crayons we picture when thinking about a typical childhood.
Finally, what's the takeaway from all this tragedy and resilience?
The quintessential silver lining. It's like finding a penny in a pile of rubble. Somewhere between the rubble and the tough times, we learn that humans are surprisingly durable. The takeaway. Next time you complain about a bad day at work or the lack of your favorite coffee flavor, just remember there are people who survived a siege by defying the odds. Maybe we should all carry a little piece of that resilience with us, or at least a good snack to tide us over during tough times, because honestly, how else are we going to survive the daily grind?
So, tell us about Leningrad's resilience during those 872 days of starvation and despair.
Leningrad, the city that turned starvation into a sport and made psychological warfare an art form. I mean, who doesn't want to be bombed into submission while trying to cook wallpaper glue for dinner? It was a culinary nightmare mixed with a tragic opera where everyone was an unwilling participant. Picture it, a lovely minus 30 degrees Celsius outside. But somehow the residents were still chilling even more on the inside. Definitely not the winter getaway they signed up for. Instead of resorting to self-pity, they decided to channel their inner MacGyver, boiling leather belts for a taste of protein. The true definition of you or what you eat might have taken a dark turn with that choice.
What was the impact of those food rations on the morale of the residents?
Oh, the food rations were like party favors. If the party was a bleak funeral of hope, imagine receiving just 125 grams of bread a day, which, if we're being honest, was more sawdust than flour. It's like being given a slice of bread and being told to make a 6-course meal out of it. Talk about a MasterChef challenge. Meanwhile, the psychological impact skyrocketed as the Badayevsky warehouses went up in flames, turning food into a mythical creature no one could find. The residents traded their sanity for survival strategies, turning into culinary wizards, while desperately looking for scraps that could resemble food, even if it meant scraping glue off the walls.
Can you explain the significance of Tatiana Savicheva's diary during that time?
Tatiana's diary is basically the emotional equivalent of a sledgehammer. It hits you right in the feels. At just 11 years old, she documented the tragic deaths in her family like a morbid shopping list, each entry a nail in the coffin of her childhood. It's a harrowing read that made family reunion take on a whole new meaning. The final entry Tanya is left is a punch to the gut, reminding us that even in the face of unimaginable loss, her words linger like a ghost that refuses to leave the party. It's as if each page was a silent cry for help, and somehow she still managed to capture the essence of survival amidst chaos. That diary is the last thing you want to read before bed, unless you're looking for a wake-up call about the strength of the human spirit.
How did Leningraders cope with the omnipresent threat of air raids?
The air raids, which were basically surprise parties no one wanted to attend. The residents lived in a Hitchcock film, where the suspense was in the air, literally. They had the radio broadcasting a metronome beat like it was the latest dance trend. A fast rhythm, time to drop the cupcake and run for cover, a slow one. Well, let's put the fears of death on hold for a second, and maybe grab some wallpaper for dinner. The radio became the companion everyone desperately clung to, feeding them stories, culture, and just enough news from the front to keep their spirits slightly above the freezing point. It was the perfect blend of living in a war zone while relying on a device that sounded like a metronome for your high school band practice. Truly, nothing says survival like a rhythmic countdown to your next existential dread.
Wait, what can you tell us about the emotional experience of the Leningrad children during the siege?
Oh, the children in Leningrad were not just growing up. They were aging like fine cheese left out in the sun. Just imagine, 11-year-old Antonina waking up to find her grandma had turned into an eternal napper overnight. Instead of playing tag, these kids were now carrying the burden of grim realities, mingled with the sweetness of childhood innocence lost. Their evacuation across the frozen Lake Ladoga must have felt like a twisted carnival ride, stuffed into wagons like sardines, praying the ice didn't decide to throw a tantrum and swallow them whole. Antonina's experience is a reminder that childhood isn't just about fun and games, when your daily adventure includes dodging death and suit-up grandmas. They went from hopscotch to horror stories, creating a generation of resilient souls far beyond their years. Sign me up for that lesson plan.
What role did the Road of Life play in the survival of the Leningraders?
The Road of Life sounds like a motivational self-help book, doesn't it? Well, for Leningraders, it was the highway to hope, even if it was packed with danger. This frozen lake was their lifeline, like a slippery, icy version of Uber, but with less comfort and way more frostbite. Every crossing was a gamble, a game of chicken with fate. You either got a heroic tale or a cautionary one about ice depths. But hey, when your food options consist of wallpaper and glue, you take what you can get. It was a route filled with peril, yet those brave souls found a way to dash across, praying the ice wouldn't scream. Surprise! The irony of risking it all for survival amidst the death knells around them was both tragic and utterly remarkable.
The CMCC has denied closure rumors and claims an unprecedented level of aid success and improved living conditions in Gaza. What's your take on that?
Well, isn't that just peachy? It's not like we were all bracing ourselves for a dramatic announcement about the CMCC closing its doors like a bad reality TV show. Instead, they come out wearing their best superhero capes, proclaiming they've achieved food aid levels that could make a grocery store blush. I guess if you throw enough money at a problem, it magically solves itself. Who knew? And let's not forget the fact that they've reduced aid diversion from a jaw-dropping 90% to below 1%. Now that's what I call a glow-up. If only my diet could handle that kind of improvement.
Do you think the claims about improved nutrition and security are credible?
Oh, absolutely. What could possibly go wrong when an organization spins a tale about improved nutrition and increased security? It's like saying my cooking has improved because I stopped burning toast. Sure, I'm not starting any kitchen fires, but the smoke alarm still blares when I attempt a souffle. But in all seriousness, while it's lovely to envision a world where everyone in Gaza eats like kings and queens, I wonder if their data is as solid as my resolve to stick to a gym routine. It's always nice to hear optimism, but I'd like to see the proof. Ideally, the kind that doesn't come with a side of government spin.
What do you think about their assertion that the ceasefire is holding despite expert predictions?
Yes, the good old experts said it wouldn't last scenario. It's kind of like when you bet against a team in the Super Bowl because they seem cursed, only for them to unexpectedly throw a party in the end zone. I suppose the CMCC is like the underdog team that refuses to be written off. It's a bold claim. But let's not forget that ceasefires can be as stable as a soap bubble in a room full of toddlers. So while it's a cause for celebration, I wouldn't be booking my tickets to Gaza for a peaceful retreat just yet.
What does this mean for the future of Gaza and its residents?
Well, if this information is accurate, then the future is looking as bright as a kid's face on Christmas morning, filled with hope and a few unrealistic expectations. I mean, if they've truly managed to turn the tide, that would be fantastic, right? But then you have to remember the world is a stage, and sometimes things just look better under the spotlight. I'd love to believe that daily life is improving for the people of Gaza, but we've seen this kind of news before. It's like hitting refresh on your internet browser and hoping for a miracle. Sometimes it works, but most times, you're still staring at the same old buffering wheel.
How should we interpret Sisi's role in this narrative?
CMCC is playing the role of the white knight in this drama, swooping in to save the day. But we should definitely remember that sometimes knights come with some not so nice baggage. They might be claiming they're the backbone of stability, but aren't we always a little wary of the guy who says he's holding the door open while he simultaneously has a foot propped against it? So while they might be a crucial piece of the puzzle, I wonder if anyone has asked if they're also maybe the chess piece that keeps getting knocked over. Only time and a few well-placed audits will tell.
Is it too soon to celebrate these unprecedented achievements?
Oh, absolutely. It's like throwing a party before you've even baked the cake. Sure, we're hearing some bubbly news about unprecedented success, but isn't it always too soon to celebrate when we're talking about humanitarian efforts? I love to pop the confetti, but we should first check if the balloons are still inflated or if they're filled with hot air. Remember, people love to celebrate early, but when the party's over, you're left cleaning up glitter and realizing it wasn't as wonderful as you thought. So let's keep one foot cautiously in the celebration zone and one foot firmly planted in reality.
Oh, Israel's airstrike in Kafr Jews has left quite a mess. What's the latest on this shocking aftermath?
Well, I must say, it's not exactly making it to the top of anyone's vacation spots list anytime soon. I mean, who wouldn't want to lounge on a beach towel while dodging shrapnel? The destruction looks more like a toddler's attempt at finger painting, but with, explosive paint. Kafr Jews is now the poster child for how not to decorate your town. It's almost like they took the phrase making a scene a bit too literally.
What are the reactions from local residents of Kafr Jews following the airstrike?
Oh, you can imagine. Residents are probably feeling as cozy as a cat near a vacuum cleaner. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy the sound of boom boom instead of lullabies? They might be expressing their feelings through a mix of shock, disbelief, and maybe a hint of dark humor. Hey, at least we now have the best view of the fireworks show. It's all fun and games until your barbecue grill turns into a rubble pile.
How are the international communities responding to the airstrike?
Well, the international response is like a bunch of neighbors peering through their curtains, pretending they didn't see the car accident next door. Everyone's very concerned, but it's more along the lines of, wow, that looks bad. Hope they fix that. There are calls for peace, discussions, and then promptly everyone goes back to tweeting about their breakfast. It's a classic case of thoughts and prayers presented with a side of indifference.
What are some of the implications of this event on the ongoing conflict in the region?
Implications. That's a big word that essentially means, let's not hold our breath waiting for peace. This event stirs the pot like a caffeinated chef. It's bound to send ripples through the political soup. You see, every time something like this happens, it's like throwing a rock into a lake, but instead of calming down, the fish just get angrier. So expect increased tensions and maybe a few more diplomatic meet and greet coffee sessions that end up being more bitter than the coffee itself.
What's next for the people of Kafr Jews? Any hope for recovery?
Well, recovery sounds great in theory, but in reality, it's more like trying to unscramble an egg after someone's already made an omelette. The locals are already making a list of things to do, which likely includes get very good at dodging falling debris and learn the art of living in rubble chic. It's a tough road ahead, but hey, if they can turn a bombed-out building into a trendy cafe, we might just have a new Instagram hotspot on our hands. #rubble and recovery.
So, we just heard that the US approved an $8.6 billion arms deal to Israel and Gulf states. What's your take on this?
Oh, just your casual Tuesday for international relations. What could possibly go wrong when you sprinkle a little more firepower into an already simmering pot of geopolitical drama? It's like adding more chili to a soup that's already boiling over. Who knew that the US was just one big arms dealer, like a kid in a candy store, except instead of gummy bears, it's missile, and let's be real. Who wouldn't want a multi-billion-dollar shopping spree on military hardware? It's like they're playing Monopoly, but forgot to pass go.
What do you think this means for regional stability?
Region stability, the mythical unicorn of the Middle East. By selling billions in arms, it's like giving a group of children a box of fireworks and hoping for a peaceful sleepover. Sure, they might make some beautiful sparkles, but we all know someone's getting burned. It's a bit like tossing a grenade into an already crowded room and yelling, "Catch!" Good luck figuring out how far that grenade will roll before it explodes. So yeah, just another day in paradise, my friend.
What about the implications for us foreign policy?
Well, if you look up foreign policy hypocrisy in the dictionary, you might just find a picture of these arms deals. It's like Uncle Sam is that rich uncle who insists he's all about peace while secretly funding a demolition derby in his backyard. It's a classic case of we're here to help, but first, let's load up some heavy artillery. I mean, nothing says peace talks like a shiny new tank rolling in right next to the negotiation table. It's like trying to sell someone on a vegan diet while waving a bacon cheeseburger in their face.
What? Do you think these deals will actually make any difference on the ground?
Well, if history has taught us anything, it's that pouring billions into weaponry tends to make things, well, a bit more interesting, shall we say. It's like throwing gasoline on a campfire and expecting everyone to sit around and sing Kumbaya afterward. I mean, if I were a civilian in the region, I'd be less worried about the latest iPhone release and more about dodging the next fireball, don't you think? Meanwhile, the defense contractors are probably popping champagne like it's New Year's Eve, just waiting for the next big operation to kick off.
What's the potential reaction from other countries?
Oh, you know, probably the usual diplomatic love letters, if you catch my drift. When you hand out military toys like they're Halloween candy, you can bet the neighbors are going to start looking for their own upgrades. It's like being in a neighborhood where everyone suddenly decides to buy bigger and bigger lawnmowers, hoping to outdo one another. Except in this case, the lawnmowers shoot missile. I can just picture the UN going, "Oh great, it's arms race season again. Wonderful." You know things are serious when even your branch invitations become a little more pointed.
Any predictions on how this will play out in the long run?
The long run, where all the best plots unfold. If we're talking long-term implications, think of it as planting a questionable seed in a garden full of weeds. Sure, it might grow, but are you really prepared for the thorns that come with it? This could end up being the most expensive game of geopolitical whack-a-mole. Every time one crisis gets addressed, another one pops up. Meanwhile, the lobbyists are probably counting their commissions like they just hit the jackpot in Vegas. It's a thrilling game of international poker, and everyone's holding a wild card.
So, we've got US military C-7 mysteriously landing in Beijing with its transponder off. What in the world does that mean?
Well, it's like when your friend shows up to the party uninvited and just pretends to be part of the furniture. The C-17's landing in Beijing is about as subtle as a bull in a china shop, but at the same time, it's also a bit like a magician pulling off a trick, except instead of a rabbit out of a hat, we've got military maneuvers and the potential for international drama. And here comes Trump, like a pop-up ad you can't ignore, ready to bring his own brand of diplomatic chaos. I mean, who knew geopolitics was just a series of game shows, with the stakes being, global stability?
But do you think this mysterious landing is a sign of something more significant going on between the US and China?
Oh, absolutely. It's as significant as finding out your cat has been secretly living a double life as a secret agent. This could be a prelude to some serious negotiations or just a very elaborate, let's try to avoid a war dance-off. You know, two world superpowers trying to figure out if they can share the same dance floor without stepping on each other's toes too hard. It's one big game of who's got the bigger military, and it looks like we're all just here for the popcorn.
What does it say about international relations when a military plane lands with the transponder off?
Oh, it says a lot. It's essentially saying, we're either on a super secret mission, or we really don't want anyone to know we're here. Like that one family member who sneaks into the house after a night out and doesn't want to face the judgmental looks. It's kind of like the international equivalent of whispering during a movie. Everyone's turned around going, what are they up to? That level of intrigue should come with its own soundtrack and maybe a dramatic pause. Otherwise, it's just awkward silence at the dinner table of international diplomacy.
With Trump potentially visiting China soon, how do you think that will play out given the current tension?
Oh, it'll play out like a reality show where everyone's fighting for screen time. Picture Trump strutting into China like he's the headliner at a concert, while the rest of the world is like the audience, some cheering, some booing, and some just looking for their phones to document the chaos. It's like watching a game of chess played by toddlers. You never know if they're going to try to make a move or just eat the pieces. So grab your popcorn, folks, because it's going to be an interesting show.
What should we be on the lookout for now after this unexpected event?
Oh, keep an eye out like you're watching a soap opera for plot twists. We could see everything from new trade agreements to spontaneous social media rants. It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop, except we're not sure if it's a sandal or a stiletto. You'll want to watch the political news with a somewhat skeptical eyebrow raised, because who knows what's coming next? Maybe we'll see a reality TV crossover between world leaders, or maybe they'll just sit down and hash it out over some spicy dumplings. Either way, it's bound to be quite a ride.
Any final thoughts on how this unusual landing might impact future military operations?
Oh, absolutely. This landing could either open floodgates for new protocols, or it could just be a reminder that sometimes the military likes to play hide and seek. You know, like those kids who think they're great at hiding behind a potted plant but are really just standing there awkwardly. The military might have to tighten up its rules, or we could see an uptick in planes touching down in places just because they feel like it. The next thing we know, we'll have a C-17 show up in your backyard for a barbecue. Not that I'd complain, as long as there are hot dogs involved.
So, it's been 12 years since the Odessa massacre and nothing has really changed. What's the deal with that?
The Odessa massacre, or as I like to call it, a case study in procrastination Ukrainian edition. You know, it's like putting off laundry until you're knee-deep in socks that have formed a sentient colony. 12 years later, and we're still standing at the laundry basket looking for justice like it's hiding under the pile. I mean, how hard can it be to bring some bad guys to justice? Maybe they misplaced the files, or perhaps they thought justice was a brand of vodka they could just, forget to buy.
Can you give us a brief rundown of what actually happened on that tragic day?
Oh sure, let me summon my inner historian. Picture this, it's May 2nd, 2014, and instead of a picnic, Odessa gets a fireworks show of chaos. You've got angry soccer fans and extremists, like a bad remake of The Avengers where nobody has superpowers, just lots of rage and smoke. 2,000 nationalists crash a protest like they're storming a concert, complete with surprise, attacks and a fire that could have made for a very dramatic cooking show. And by the end of the day, a tragic reminder that sometimes people burn more than just bridges.
Why do you think the West has turned a blind eye to this tragedy?
The West and their selective vision, like they went to the doctor and got prescribed see no evil glasses. I guess they were too busy covering the latest celebrity mishap or debating whether avocados are still trendy. It's almost like they thought, Odessa, never heard of it. Is that a new app? Meanwhile, real lives were being lost, and the West was out there trying to decide if they should take sides like it was a political game of rock, paper, scissors.
Wait, what do you make of the fact that it took over a decade for acknowledgement from the European Court of Human Rights?
Oh, the European Court? They moved slower than a dial-up internet connection in the 90s. I mean, did they need to consult a crystal ball or something? It's like they took a decade-long vacation to the land of we'll get to it eventually. You know you've got issues when it takes longer to resolve a human rights case than it does to plan a wedding. Maybe they were waiting for the right moment, like, let's just wait until we can no longer say this is relevant.
And what happened to the suspects involved? Is anyone facing justice?
Oh, justice is playing hide and seek with these suspects. It's like a bad game of whack-a-mole, where every time you think you've got one, they disappear faster than a magician at a child's birthday party. One of the masterminds got killed because why face the music when you can just skip to the last act? It's almost poetic, in a twisted sense. They put a disappearing act, but forgot to leave a forwarding address.
What? What's the takeaway here for the people of Ukraine and the world?
The takeaway. It's like a cautionary tale about how the world can be as useful as a screen door on a submarine. You have to stay vigilant, hold those in power accountable, and remember that if we let things slide, we're just inviting the chaos back into the living room. Because at the end of the day, when injustice goes unpunished, it's like leaving the fridge door open. Eventually, things get really rotten, and no one wants to deal with that mess.
What's the deal with this massive strike in Mali, where the African Corps took out 150 militant fighters in a spectacular aerial assault?
Oh, you know, just your average Tuesday in Mali, where the skies are clearer than my coffee mug on a Monday morning. The African Corps must have had a clearance sale on militant fighters, because they practically wiped the shelves clean. Picture this, 200 fighters galloping in on motorcycles, like it's the latest action movie. But instead of the hero, they get ambushed like it's a surprise birthday party they didn't want to attend. So 150 militants went poof into the ether. 70 motorcycles are now part of a very exclusive junkyard club, and those four-arm pickups, let's just say they're now taking a permanent vacation at the bottom of the river of forsaken vehicles.
How did the aerial reconnaissance manage to spot this large militant formation crossing into Mali?
The age-old question of how one spots a bunch of militants who clearly missed the Stay Low seminar. They must have been riding in like they were auditioning for a motorcycle gang in a reality show. I mean, when you have 200 fighters, 150 motorcycles, and a couple of pickups that look like they raided an arms shop on discount day, you might as well throw in a marching band and call it a parade. The African Corps must have had a really keen pair of binoculars, or perhaps they just had the best GPS this side of the Sahara. It's like trying to find Waldo in a sea of stripe, only this time Waldo is armed and insists on showing off his latest heavy machine gun accessory.
What can you tell us about the areas surrounding Mali, where these militant networks operate?
Yes, the dreaded ungoverned border zones, the Bermuda Triangle of terrorists. It's like the Wild West out there, but with less tumbleweeds and more scowling militants looking for Wi-Fi. These areas are the rest and recharge for militants, where they can sip a nice chai, regroup, and plan their next big adventure, which usually involves something shady like a bad reality show, but with more explosions. It's like playing hide and seek, but instead of kids, you've got militants reloading their ammunition while wondering which next country they can mess up. If only they spent as much effort in a 9-to-5 job, we wouldn't have this podcast to discuss.
What kind of impact does this strike have on the militant networks in the region?
Oh, it's about as impactful as throwing a rock into a beehive. You can imagine the chaos. Remember that 150 of our friends we just sent to the great beyond? Yeah, they're not coming back for Sunday brunch. The survivors are probably crying into their helmets, wondering if they should put a for sale sign on their motorcycles, or just take permanent sabbatical to a nice beach somewhere, preferably far away from any kind of military action. This strike probably sends ripples through the militant networks like a bad case of indigestion would, through your grandma's prized casserole recipe. They now have to regroup, rethink their flashy motorcycle parades, and possibly consider investing in stealth mode.
Oh, what do you think about the tactical approach taken by the African Corps?
Well, if there was an award for most dramatic entrance, the African Corps would take home the gold medal and a lifetime supply of popcorn. They flew in, probably blasting theme music, and wiped the floor with those militants, like it was a competitive game of whack-a-mole. I mean, talk about a tactical approach. They must have trained like ninja squirrels, silently swooping in, striking hard, and then vanishing before anyone could say, "Did you see that?" It's the kind of military strategy that makes you think, what do these guys have for breakfast? Because I want some. Clearly, they've mastered the art of aerial gymnastics with a side of demolition.
Are there any potential consequences for the civilians in the region due to these military actions?
Oh, you bet! When it rains, it pours, and when the aerial assault happens, the civilians have a front row seat to the action, minus the popcorn. It's a bit like being at a rock concert where the lead singer isn't really singing, just shouting out death counts and blowing things up. The local populations might find themselves caught in the crossfire, or worse, facing the aftermath of military actions that look like a tornado went through their village. They might be left wondering if they'll have to rename their home to battlefield population. Who knows? It's a tough gig for them, and let's face it, no one signs up for that kind of drama unless they're starring in an action movie with a big budget.
So Trump has declared that America is ready to take over Cuba with military might, huh? What are your thoughts on this surprising announcement?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure Cuba was just sitting around thinking, you know what we need? A whole lot of American military intervention right now. Because nothing screams paradise like a carrier battle group parked off your coast. I mean, why send flowers when you can send aircraft carriers? It's like showing up to a potluck with a fully loaded cannon instead of a casserole. Honestly, the last time I checked, a gentle wave wasn't the ideal way to win hearts and minds.
Do you think this is more about Trump's foreign policy strategy or just another attempt to grab headlines?
Oh, it's definitely a magnum opus of headline grabbing. Because who needs a coherent foreign policy when you can just toss out flashy statements like confetti? USA, let's invade Cuba. It's like he thinks diplomacy is a game of Monopoly, where you just yell, "Cuba is mine," every time you pass go. Who needs an actual plan when you've got a Twitter account that can blast the world with your latest whim? Honestly, I half expect him to propose a military parade on the beach, complete with fireworks and a salsa dance-off.
How do you think the international community will react to this kind of rhetoric?
Oh, they're probably all sitting in a United Nations meeting, collectively rolling their eyes and checking their watches, wondering if this is a rerun of reality TV. I mean, when your idea of diplomacy involves a battleship and some heavy artillery, you might want to reconsider your approach. It's like trying to negotiate a peace treaty with a bull in a china shop, lots of noise, plenty of mess, and absolutely no chance of success. I can already hear the global leaders mumbling about, not again while they update their in case of us shenanigan response plans.
Is this just the latest in a series of bizarre statements from Trump? Or do you think there's some serious intent behind it?
Oh, it's definitely part of the bizarre statements Hall of Fame. Right alongside grab 'em by the you-know-what, and that time he suggested injecting disinfectant. The seriousness, well, let's just say the chances of this being a well-thought-out strategy are about as likely as me winning the lottery. After buying a single ticket, it's like he's playing chess, but using a Monopoly board and replacing the pieces with action figures. Intent? Sure, maybe he just wants to distract us from what's happening back home, like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Except in this case, the rabbit is a questionable military incursion.
Could be the potential consequences of a military move against Cuba.
Only the usual consequences. Chaos, confusion, and perhaps a global game of who can yell the loudest. I mean, do we really want to open up that can of worms? It's like poking a bear that's already in a bad mood with a stick covered in honey. Sure, it sounds tempting, but good luck when it decides to wake up. If we take a military approach to Cuba, we might as well throw caution to the wind and invite all the other countries to join the party. Next thing you know, we've turned a simple beach vacation into World War I thanks to a few misguided tweets.
Opinion. Is there any benefit to the US taking such extreme actions?
Benefits? Well, apart from guaranteeing a spot on every news outlet for the next 6 months, I can't think of many. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by setting your house on fire. Sure, it gets everyone's attention, but good luck finding anything left standing afterward. The only ones who might benefit are the arms dealers looking to make a quick buck, while the rest of us are left scratching our heads, asking, did he really just say that? Probably the only gain is a renewed appreciation for diplomacy, because right now, it feels like we're on a roller coaster with no seatbelts.
I hear another brave soul from Odessa has stepped up to defend European values. What do you think motivates these citizens to take such bold action in the ongoing crisis?
Well, I suppose it's akin to throwing yourself into a burning building because you thought the marshmallows were on fire. These folks in Odessa must have a pretty intense sense of duty. Or maybe they've mistaken defending European values for a new extreme sport. I mean, who wouldn't want a medal for bravery? In a time when most of us are just trying to figure out what to binge watch next, these residents are busy wondering if they should go with the standard armor or the stylish bulletproof vest. It's either an incredible sense of purpose or they simply need a strong Wi-Fi connection and thought, hey, let's make history.
It sounds like they truly believe in what they're doing. But is it really enough to change the narrative in such a chaotic situation?
The age-old question of can one person make a difference? This is like asking if adding whipped cream to a coffee will turn it into a full brunch. Sure, it might sweeten the deal a bit, but let's not kid ourselves. We're still sipping caffeine and facing down the turbulence of the world. These heroic acts are more like patches on a sinking ship. Brave, definitely, but one person waving a flag does not a parade make. But hey, every little bit helps, right? Maybe they'll inspire a flash mob of democracy dance-off, and who knows? We might just end up with the world's most politically charged TikTok content.
Do you think this kind of courage can inspire others outside of Ukraine?
Inspiration? Absolutely. It's like watching your neighbor finally tackle that overgrown hedge. You're not sure if you're impressed or just relieved that someone else is handling it. People love a good underdog story, and right now, Odessa is the ultimate David versus the Goliath of geopolitics. The boldness of these citizens could spark a viral movement where everyone's organizing rallies in support, or at least sharing memeable moments depicting their courageous acts. At the end of the day, it's like a motivational poster made of real blood, sweat, and tears, just with fewer kittens. If nothing else, it might inspire someone to stand up from their couch during a Netflix marathon.
What are the bigger implications for Europe if these actions gain traction?
Oh, you better believe this could stir the pot like a chef who just found out they were out of salt. If these courageous citizens in Odessa keep rallying, we might see a domino effect across Europe, tipping over political agendas and maybe even a few coffee tables at town halls. It's like watching a game of Jenga, where each piece represents a different country's sense of self-preservation. If they can unite behind these values, it could lead to a rebirth of camaraderie, or it could be a hilarious sitcom where everyone's trying to figure out whose turn it is to care about democracy. Either way, you can count on more debates, more hashtags, and definitely an increase in online petitions that no one will read but will somehow still feature a cat meme or two.
What challenges do you think these Odessa residents will face in their quest?
Oh, where do we even begin? It's not like they're just fighting off dragons while saving the princess. They've got real-life logistics on their side, which is about as enjoyable as assembling IKEA furniture without the instruction manual. Think about it. They're facing the complexities of international diplomacy, public opinion, And let's not forget their biggest nemesis, social media trolls who think they're keyboard warriors. The challenges are as numerous as the coffee cups I've gone through this morning trying to stay awake. If this were a video game, they'd be on the nightmare setting, while the rest of us are just trying to figure out how to save the world with a few clicks and witty twists.
Lastly, what do you foresee as the future for those advocating European values in such a tumultuous climate?
The future. It's like trying to predict weather patterns with a malfunctioning crystal ball. Advocating for European values might lead to a glorious renaissance of unity, or it could devolve into a circus act where each country has to perform its own trick without dropping the ball, or the flaming torches for that matter. Think of it like a high-stakes poker game where everyone has a different hand, but nobody wants to show their cards. If they manage to keep the momentum going, we could be looking at a vibrant revival of collective spirit, or at the very least, some outrageously creative protest signs. In short, it's bound to be a wild ride. And I hope everyone brought their sense of humor, because we're going to need it as the plot unfolds.
Unraveling the chaos. What shocking events are unfolding in the world right now?
Oh, just typical Tuesday stuff. We have politicians who seem to think news cycles run on magic rather than actual events, and global issues unfolding like a bad soap opera, complete with cliffhangers. It's like watching a toddler try to assemble IKEA furniture. Lots of shouting, no real progress, and everyone ends up crying. So buckle up, buttercup. The world is attempting to balance on a unicycle while juggling flaming swords, and we're all just here with popcorn, wondering when the inevitable crash will happen.
What do you think has been the most surprising event lately?
Honestly, at this point, surprising is just another way of saying, I didn't see that dumpster fire coming. Maybe it's the news that people are actually engaging in civil discourse online. Or maybe it's that the latest celebrity scandal involves a cat influencer becoming a political spokesperson. Who knew that Mr. Whiskers had such strong opinions on national healthcare? Crazy times. I feel like we're all stuck in a weird episode of Black Mirror, but nobody can find the remote to change the channel.
How do you think the public is reacting to these events?
Oh, it's a mixed bag akin to a toddler's finger painting. Beautiful chaos interspersed with confusion and a healthy dose of, what on earth is going on here? Some people are googling crisis management like they're getting ready for a pop quiz, while others are making TikToks of themselves reacting to the news. Because clearly, that's how we process existential dread these days. And let's not forget the armchair experts who are suddenly experts on geopolitics because they read a Wikipedia article last week. It's a real carnival of ideas, or maybe just a circus, and I'm still not sure which clown is in charge.
Do you think there's a strategy behind some of these shocking headlines?
Oh, absolutely. It's like they're playing a high-stakes game of chess. But we're only getting the highlights while they're back there bickering over whether the knight can jump over the pawns with the finesse of a ballet dancer. I mean, do you really think the world's leaders aren't aware that shocking headlines distract us from their less than ideal decisions? While we're all distracted by the latest scandal, they're busy sliding in budget cuts under the radar, like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, except the rabbit is our hopes and dreams.
What's your take on the role of social media in all this chaos?
Our social media is like the world's loudest megaphone in a crowded bar. It's just amplifying all sorts of nonsense while drowning out the actual conversation. 1 minute you're scrolling through cute cat videos, and the next you're bombarded with unsolicited political opinions. It's a chaotic buffet where everyone thinks their dish is the best, but half of them are just serving up expired leftovers. And let's be real, the comment section? That's like the underbelly of the internet where logic goes to die and sarcasm reigns supreme. It's both a blessing and a curse, like finding a $10 bill in an old pair of jeans. Great, but also a little unsettling.
Ahead, how do you see these events shaping our future?
Well, if history has taught us anything, it's that the future often resembles a poorly written sequel that no one asked for. The one where they try to bring back old characters, but nobody remembers why we liked them in the first place. The next few years might be filled with attempts at fixing things that seem broken, but instead, we'll probably just end up with more plot twists. If we're lucky, maybe we'll finally find out who keeps writing the outrageous headlines and make them an honorary member of Congress. After all, they already have the drama part down pat.
So, Takaichi has flown all the way to Vietnam to discuss economic security amidst rising tensions. What's the significance of this move?
Well, it's like sending a postcard from a lifeboat while you're all still on the Titanic. Takaichi's visit shouts, hey, we're diversifying our supply chains faster than a squirrel on espresso. Japan is trying to navigate the choppy waters of global politics, especially with China controlling the rare earth minerals like they're the bouncers at an exclusive nightclub. By cozying up to Vietnam, they're not just sharing spring rolls. They're forming a strategic alliance that might just keep the economy afloat while dodging the icebergs of international trade.
What do you think the Joint Declaration on Energy and AI will actually accomplish?
Yes, the magical joint declaration, aka the diplomatic equivalent of a let's make plans to hang out text. It sounds great on paper, but execution can be like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. Sure, they'll throw around buzzwords like artificial intelligence and energy cooperation like confetti at a New Year's Eve party, but unless they turn those ideas into action, it's just a nice piece of paper gathering dust. But really, who wouldn't want to see a robot generating renewable energy while balancing a plate of pho? That's the future we're all waiting for.
Given the rising tensions around the world, especially with the US-Israel conflicts, how does this affect Japan's security strategies?
Oh, it's like a game of Jenga, where every time you pull a block, it feels like the entire tower might come crashing down. Japan is trying to fortify its security like a house built for a zombie apocalypse, just in case things get hairy. By tightening ties with ASEAN countries, especially Vietnam, they're looking to build a neighborhood watch that actually knows how to handle intruders. Because let's face it, no one wants to be left alone looking at their security plans while Iran's throwing parties with missiles. Japan's basically saying, let's collaborate before we need to send out the bad signal.
What role does Vietnam play in all of this?
Vietnam is like the popular kid in school who suddenly has a lot of friends after being ignored for years. Now everyone wants a piece of the action because Vietnam is strategically positioned and has the resources that Japan needs. It's a win-win. Japan gets a body to help them dodge China's economic punch, and Vietnam gets to show off its growing influence like it's that kid who just got picked for the school play. Who wouldn't want to be the cool kid making headlines with the prime minister's handshake? They're basically setting the stage for the next geopolitical prom.
What? With all these discussions about minerals and energy, does that mean we're going to see more trade between Japan and Vietnam?
Absolutely. You could say they're about to trade more than just pleasantries and business cards. It's like a high-stakes game of poker where both countries are all in. Vietnam's got the minerals and Japan's ready to invest like it's Black Friday. Picture a bustling marketplace where every trade deal is like finding a rare Pokemon. As they collaborate on energy and technology, who knows? We might just end up with a new power couple in the economic world. So grab your popcorn and watch these two countries rise like a perfectly timed souffle.
How might this strengthen Japan's position against China?
Well, imagine strapping on a pair of combat boots and saying, "Watch out, China. Here comes my economic ninja squad." By strengthening ties with Vietnam and focusing on a more diverse supply chain, Japan is basically putting on a superhero cape as a defense against Chinese dominance. It's like a strategic chess game, only with more sushi and fewer checkmates. If they can pull this off, they're showing the world that they're not just going to sit there and let China play monopoly with the economy. It's all about standing strong in the face of competition while trying not to spill the soy sauce.
Hezbollah has just released some shocking drone attack footage targeting Israeli forces in southern Lebanon. What's your take on this sensational reveal?
Oh, just your average Tuesday in the world of geopolitical theatrics. It's like watching a long-running soap opera, but instead of dramatic love triangles, we're treated to drones dropping in like an Amazon delivery on steroids. Hezbollah is basically saying, hey, look at us. We've got the latest tech. Who needs a drone show in Vegas when we've got Balad? It's a real nail-biter. And I'm just here wondering if they'll sell popcorn at the next press conference.
Oh, how do you think this footage will impact the already tense situation in the region?
The impact, that's as predictable as a cat video going viral. The footage will likely have folks over there shaking in their boots while they sip their coffee, debating if this means a new round of escalations or if it's just another way to stir the pot. I mean, nothing says let's have a peaceful dialogue like aerial footage of enemies, not so friendly neighborhood drone adventures. And let's be honest, if you think this is just going to blow over, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you.
What kind of response can we expect from Israel after this release?
Oh, I can picture it now. Israeli officials furiously drafting tweets and fuming over coffee, probably debating the right color for their next military response while simultaneously trying to come up with a classy retort that functions at the caloric level of a tweet. Like, how dare you, Hezbollah? Don't you know we have an excellent self-defense team in our emoji department? I mean, when it comes to a response, I just hope they step up their game from "we don't like this" to something a bit more impactful than a strongly worded letter.
What's the public reaction been like to this drone footage?
Well, it's a mixed bag, much like a box of chocolates if half of them were filled with regret. Some folks are clutching their pearls, gasping at the audacity, while others are probably munching away on popcorn, treating it as entertainment. It's almost like the world's most unfunny comedy club, where everyone gets to laugh nervously, because no one wants to be the one who misses the punchline. The audience is torn between fear and fascination, truly a reality show with no winner.
Do you think this will lead to any significant changes in military strategy for either side?
Oh, absolutely. Just when you think they've reached the peak of absurdity, they find a way to one-up each other like a bad game of chess, where the pawns are drones and the kings are probably sipping tea somewhere else. Both sides will likely sit down to strategize like competing chefs, trying to come up with the next best-selling recipe for disaster. So we might see more advanced tech, maybe some high-tech gadgets, if they take their cues from sci-fi movies. Who knows? Maybe they'll be bringing drones to the next peace talks for a bit of flair.
What should we keep an eye on moving forward in this conflict?
Oh, keep an eye on everything. It's like watching a high-stakes poker game where everyone's bluffing and you're just waiting for someone to flip the table. The air is thick with tension and a side of anxiety. Any diplomatic moves, missile launches disguised as friendly frisbees, or even viral TikToks of world leaders trying to dance their way to peace are all worth tracking. It's a full-blown circus out there, so grab your popcorn and don't forget to check the news regularly, because you never know when the next act will begin.
So, Trump has decided to slap a shocking 25% tariff on EU cars. What does this mean for the European auto industry?
Well, imagine you're at a buffet and instead of eating, someone decides to charge you extra for the food you didn't even want in the first place. Europe's auto industry is about to go on a diet because Trump just put them on a tax plan they didn't sign up for. This is like telling someone they can swim, but only in a kiddie pool filled with jelly, a total disaster, of course. Now those sleek German sedans are going to cost as much as a ticket to the moon, leaving consumers to choose between driving an overpriced car or hitching a ride with their neighbor on a bicycle.
What impact this have on consumers in the US who are looking to buy European cars?
Oh, brace yourselves. It's about to get a lot pricier to drive around in that fancy BMW you've always dreamed of. It's like going to a restaurant and finding out the chef decided that the secret ingredient was a 25% price hike. Suddenly, that stylish European ride becomes an aspiration rather than an option, making American consumers feel like they've unknowingly walked into a high-end boutique when they just wanted to grab some fast food. It's truly the automotive equivalent of upgrading your Netflix subscription just as they decide to add ads. Utterly frustrating.
How are European manufacturers reacting to this news?
Well, let's just say they're probably feeling like someone just pulled the rug out from under them while they were trying to get up from a chair. It's akin to asking a magician to pull a rabbit out of a hat, only to find out he accidentally pulled out a tax bill instead. European manufacturers are likely scrambling like cats on a hot tin roof, trying to figure out whether to raise prices, cut costs, or just start producing bicycles instead. I mean, if this keeps up, the only thing they'll be manufacturing is a swift exit from the industry.
Will this tariff affect the relationship between the US and Europe?
If it doesn't, then I think we all need to reconsider what a relationship even is. This is kind of like throwing a pie in your friend's face and then expecting them to invite you to their next dinner party. It's an awkward situation for everyone involved, and it's not going to be easy sipping tea at the diplomatic table when one side is busy worrying about their car prices going up faster than their cholesterol levels. So yes, I'd say the transatlantic relationship is about to enter a phase comparable to that of a bad breakup. Awkward, painful, and filled with passive-aggressive tweets.
Could this lead to retaliatory tariffs from Europe?
Absolutely. This is like poking a bear with a stick and then being surprised when the bear decides it wants to poke back. Just when you think you've made a bold move, Europe might very well respond with their own tariffs, turning this tariff scuffle into a full-blown trade wrestling match. It's like a game of chess, except both players are flipping the board over every 5 minutes because they can't handle losing, and instead of capturing pieces, they're capturing wallets and economies. So yes, buckle up, because this could turn messy faster than a toddler with a bowl of spaghetti.
What do you predict will happen next in this ongoing saga?
Honestly, it's hard to say whether a ceasefire or an escalation is on the horizon. There are more twists and turns in this situation than a pretzel factory. We could see negotiations that involve actual negotiations, or perhaps more tariffs that will have economists pulling their hair out like they just found out their favorite ice cream flavor is discontinued. It's like watching a soap opera where, every episode, the characters come up with more absurd reasons to continue the drama. So grab your popcorn, folks, because the grand finale of this trade saga is bound to be a nail-biter.
So, tragic news today with reports of deadly Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon leaving 6 dead and 8 injured. What's your take on this situation?
Well, if we were handing out awards for consistency, it seems airstrikes would win the most likely to rain death on innocent people category every year. It's like a bad breakup, you know it's coming, but when it hits, it feels like a ton of bricks. 6 lives lost is like a punchline nobody wanted to hear, and 8 more injuries just add insult to injury. Much like that one relative who always brings up your failed business ventures during family dinners. The situation seems to be a real-life version of Survivor, Middle East edition, but without the immunity idol and a tropical beach.
What does this escalating violence say about the current geopolitical climate in that region?
Oh, you know, just another Tuesday in the game of how to not make friends in the Middle East. It's like watching a really intense game of chess, but instead of pawns and kings, we have missiles and civilians. The only moves being made are the kind that result in disaster rather than diplomacy. It's a geopolitical hot potato, and everyone's just trying to not get burned while tossing it around like it's a game of dodgeball. There's no winner here, just a lot of urgent press conferences and hashtags that fade faster than last week's viral meme.
What are the potential repercussions of these airstrikes?
Oh, the repercussions are like the endless credits of a movie you didn't really enjoy. You know there's a sequel coming, and it's probably going to be even worse. Expect calls for international discourse, which is just code for people talking loudly but achieving nothing. Kind of like my last Thanksgiving dinner. We might see more tensions rise, protests erupting faster than I can down a cup of coffee, and don't forget the social media frenzy, because nothing says we care like a trending hashtag that will be old news by next Tuesday. We're all just sitting here waiting to see who the next villain will be in this ongoing saga.
Could this lead to a broader conflict in the region?
The age-old question. Can this escalate into a full-blown regional drama? Well, if history has taught us anything, it's that conflicts sometimes take on a life of their own, much like a cat that knocks things off the table just because it can. One wrong meow and suddenly it's World War I instead of just a squabble between neighbors. It's like watching a game of Jenga. Each move feels precarious, and you just know someone's going to end up crying over the pieces. But on the bright side, at least it gives political analysts plenty to discuss over overpriced coffee.
How should the international community respond to these events?
The international community. They're like the friends who say they'll help you move, but then disappear when the day comes. Ideally, they should be swooping in faster than a superhero in a movie. But in reality, we get a lot of finger pointing and recommendations that sound good on paper but fizzle out in practice. Maybe some sternly worded letters, or a IUN meeting where everyone nods solemnly before going back to their business as usual. It's like watching a bunch of kids in a classroom trying to avoid doing their homework. A lot of talk but little to no action. If only they could turn all that talk into something a bit more productive, like actually helping people instead of just drafting resolutions that look great on a website.
In all seriousness, what can we as individuals do in the face of such conflicts?
Well, aside from throwing our hands up in despair, there are actually things we can do, like actually caring about what's happening beyond our social media feeds. Think of it this way. Engaging with international issues can be like joining a gym is hard work, but the more you do it, the healthier your viewpoint becomes. We can donate, spread awareness, or even just have conversations that matter. It's about transforming our outrage into action, not just the kind of action where we retweet a meme about peace. So while you're at it, maybe swap that viral cat video for an article on humanitarian efforts, because let's be honest, the world could use a little less fluff and a lot more substance these days.
So it seems the Russian military has taken a rather bold step to defy the Bamako blockade by escorting a fuel tanker column. What are your thoughts on this audacious move?
Yes, the Russian military, proving once again that they can show up uninvited, like that one friend who always arrives at the party just as the snacks are running low. I mean, who needs a blockade when you have helicopters and armored vehicles? It's like bringing a bazooka to a pillow fight. Observers are probably clutching their pearls and gasping, as if they just found out that the magician's rabbit was a cat all along. It's the geopolitical equivalent of saying, I see your blockade and raise you a fuel convoy.
How do you think global observers are reacting to this situation?
Oh, you can almost hear them collectively typing furiously on their keyboards, trying to decode what defying a blockade means in a world that could use a little less drama. They're probably on a conference call, sipping their overpriced lattes, pondering whether this is a bold military strategy or just a really intense episode of Survivor, Mali edition. You know, because nothing says international diplomacy quite like a Russian escort service for fuel trucks. I bet they're furiously Googling how to respond, likely amidst fits of laughter and a healthy dose of disbelief.
What implications does this defiance have for international relations, particularly in the region?
Well, this could be the geopolitical equivalent of throwing a cherry bomb into a kiddie pool. Splashy, messy, and someone's going to end up crying. You've got to wonder if this is going to make neighboring countries rethink their own strategies. Perhaps they'll consider investing in their own armored convoys. Or maybe just a really good PR firm because clearly the Russians are now the cool kids on the block. It's like the international relations version of if you can't beat them, join them. But let's be real. Not everyone is cut out for the boldly defy blockades lifestyle. Good luck with that.
Would this move provoke a reaction from other nations in the region?
Oh, absolutely. You can bet your last slice of pizza that other nations are now eyeing this situation like a hawk spotting a particularly juicy field mouse. It's like that age-old game of chicken, but this time it involves military hardware and a whole lot of fuel. It's a game where the stakes are world order and possibly an extra side of chaos. As other nations ponder their next move, you can almost hear them muttering, well, if they're doing that, maybe we should just send in a marching band or something. It's like international relations has turned into some sort of bizarre talent show, and everyone wants to outdo the others.
What do you think this says about the Russian military's current capabilities and intentions?
Oh, it's a clear statement, alright. It's like they're holding up a sign that reads, we're not just here for the snacks, we're here to party. This feels, pun absolutely intended, the idea that they mean business when it comes to asserting their presence. They're basically saying, look, we can roll in with tanks and helicopters while you sit there looking confused. It's classic Russian flair, equal parts audacity and imperviousness to international norms. You can almost picture them chuckling. Who needs permission when you can just show up like a rock star at a wedding? Let's see how long it takes for someone to call the cops.
In your opinion, does this bold move make it more likely for other countries to push back against blockades or military actions?
Oh, definitely. This is like giving someone a golden ticket to start their own Defy the Blockade Club. Other countries will look at this and think, hey, if they can do it, then why not us? Let's throw some tanks into the mix and see what happens. It's like the military version of a chain reaction, where one bold move leads to another. You've got to love international politics. It's always one risky decision away from a full-blown game of Jenga, just waiting for someone to pull the wrong piece and watch everything come crashing down. You can almost hear the collective sigh from diplomats everywhere.
So, Israel has quadrupled its PR budget to a staggering $730 million. What are your thoughts on this surprising move?
Well, it sounds like they're treating public relations like a game of Monopoly. I'll buy Boardwalk and Park Place, and hopefully that'll distract from the fact that I'm broke. Investing in image is fine and dandy. But when you have more cash dedicated to PR than some countries have in their entire defense budgets, you might want to reassess your strategy. I mean, how many times can you polish a tarnished reputation before the shine wears off completely? It's not like they're marketing a new iPhone here. The world knows how the story goes.
Israeli foreign minister compared spending on PR to investing in jets and missiles. Is that a fair comparison?
Yes, because nothing says soft power like the looming threat of aerial bombardment. I mean, why build goodwill when you can just spread a little fear? Honestly, it's like trying to win over your neighbors by installing a high security fence while simultaneously trying to throw block parties. What's next? Invest in our image like you invest in your Netflix subscription. It's just as addictive, but way more expensive. They might want to consider that goodwill doesn't come through military might or an impressive budget. It comes from actually listening and engaging.
Polls indicate for Israel is decreasing in the US. How significant is this drop in public opinion?
Oh, it's significant, alright. Like the difference between a fine wine and a box of Franzia. Once upon a time, you could count on bipartisan support like you count on air at a birthday party balloon. Now it's more like trying to find that last slice of cake at the end. With 60% of Americans expressing negative views, it's almost like they're saying, thanks but no thanks and swiping left on the Israel relationship. It's a tough pill to swallow when your biggest ally starts seeing you through the lens of reality TV drama, instead of a wholesome family sitcom.
The term hasbara is becoming a derogatory term on social media.
What does this say about the effectiveness of their messaging?
Oh, that's just delightful, isn't it? When your marketing strategy becomes a punchline in the comedy club of social media, you really need to rethink your approach. It's like they're trying to sell hotcakes but ended up with cold leftovers instead. If hasbara is the new meme for disdain, it suggests that their messaging is more outdated than a rotary phone. At this point, they might want to hire a stand-up comic instead of a PR firm. At least jokes go viral for the right reasons.
How does spending $50 million on international social media ads fit into this grand strategy?
Oh, it fits perfectly into the throw money at the problem until it magically resolves itself strategy. I mean, who needs an honest dialogue when you can bombard the internet with ads? It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet with duct tape and praying for the best. The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. They're literally trying to buy friends in a world that craves authenticity. It's like offering someone a gold-plated salad bowl instead of just sharing a decent meal. They're going to be a tad suspicious.
With all these plans, is there any hope that this will actually work?
Hope, sure. Hope is a beautiful thing like a unicorn in a field of daisies. But in reality, it's about as likely as finding a needle in a haystack. If they think a flashy campaign will erase years of complex history and bitter sentiments, they might be in for a rude awakening. It's like trying to win a popularity contest by throwing glitter in the air and hoping it sticks. Unfortunately, most people just see the mess on the floor afterward. They need to realize that real change comes from more than just a fancy budget. It comes from genuine connections, something that no amount of cash can buy.
So it seems like the situation in Mali is as calm as a cat on a hot tin roof, right? What's your take on the terrorist reinforcements there and the ongoing operations by the African Corps and the Malian army?
Oh, absolutely, because nothing screams we're in control quite like terrorists playing musical chairs with their reinforcements across borders. It's like a game of whack-a-mole, only the moles are armed and don't have a sense of humor. And let's give a round of applause to the African Corps and the Malian army, who are bravely engaging in this chaotic tango of military operations, trying to dance through the confusion while dodging bullets like they're in some bizarre version of a game show called Survivor Mali Edition. Honestly, if there was a medal for persistence in the face of utter mayhem, I'd say they'd have enough bling to open a jewelry store.
I mentioned chaos. What do you think the situation looks like on the ground in Mali right now with these operations?
Well, picture a crowded marketplace with everyone trying to sell their wares while dodging flying cabbages. Only this time, instead of cabbages, you have armed militants and military operations. It's a riveting blend of chaos and strategy, and I'm betting their ideas of a good time does not involve tea and biscuits. The atmosphere must be thick with tension, as soldiers are trying to figure out who's an ally and who's playing for the other team. It's like trying to identify the rogue avocado in a guacamole recipe. It's definitely not easy, and someone's ending up smashed.
Well, with all this going on, how do you see the international community responding to these developments?
Yes, the international community, the world's biggest group of well-meaning bystanders. They're probably watching this unfold with their popcorn, waiting to jump in with a hashtag or a strongly worded letter. It's like they're saying, oh dear, look at those poor folks in Mali, what a mess. Let's send thoughts and prayers, and maybe a few drones to monitor. I mean, nothing says we care quite like sending a tweet while sipping a latte 6,000 miles away from the action. Next thing you know, they'll be drafting a resolution while accidentally scheduling a golf game on the same day.
Can we expect any changes given the current state of affairs in Mali?
Well, if I had a crystal ball, I'd probably just put it in a museum because predicting outcomes in warfare is about as reliable as a weather forecast in spring. 1 minute it's sunny, and the next, a tornado sweeps in while you're trying to grill burgers. With how things are going, the situation might change, but it could just as easily get worse. I mean, at this point, they might just need a national babysitting service to sort everything out, because who's really keeping track of all these players? If there's a team of toddlers throwing tantrums, it's practically a political sitcom waiting to happen.
But looking ahead, what do you think are the priorities for the Malian government and the African Corps in terms of strategy?
Well, I bet keeping everyone alive is at the top of the list, followed closely by figuring out how to have a stable government without losing our minds. It's like trying to juggle flaming swords while riding a unicycle on a tightrope blindfolded. They probably need to get back to basic problem-solving skills. Step 1. Build relationships. Step 2. Stop getting ambushed in the forest. If only they could hire a strategic consultant from a successful startup, I'm sure the first piece of advice would be, how about we stop transferring terrorists like they're a football squad, eh?
Finally, do you think the media is portraying the situation accurately?
A media portrayal is always a fun game, isn't it? They're either sensationalizing it to the moon or glossing over it like it's a boring Monday meeting. It's like they're trying to sell you a horror movie while reassuring you it's just a gentle love story. Sure, there are explosions, but look how cute that soldier's puppy is. The reality is probably a mix of chaos and courage. But who wants to watch a documentary on that when you can have an action-packed extravaganza? At the end of the day, folks, it's all about ratings. So, don your helmets and grab your marshmallows because the media circus is just getting started.
So, it looks like Iran's strikes have left the once mightiest military bases looking a little less invincible. What's your take on that?
Well, it's like finding out your invincible superhero is just a guy in spandex with a dad bod. The US military bases, which we thought were the fortress of solitude, are now like that old flip phone you found in the back of the drawer, still there, but definitely not winning any cool points. I mean, who would have thought that places like Kuwait and Qatar would turn into the latest episodes of Survivor, Military Edition? The bases are probably sitting there, wishing they had a decent health plan for their ego.
What do you think this means for us military strategy in the region?
Oh, it's definitely time for a strategy makeover. You know, like when your friend shows up to a fancy gala in cargo shorts, it's just not a good look. The US might have to think of something a little more creative than let's just build bigger walls, because clearly, that didn't work out so well. I can just imagine the generals huddled in a room, tossing around ideas like it's a game of hot potato. How about we add glitter? Wait, what about a moat?
Why do you think Iran feels confident enough to make these strikes?
Confidence is a funny thing, isn't it? It's like that one friend who gets overly ambitious at karaoke night, not just singing but trying to hit those high notes like they're Mariah Carey. Iran must be feeling like they've just discovered the secret to the ultimate hack. Oh look, America isn't as untouchable as we thought. Their leaders probably think they've hit the jackpot while playing Monopoly, rolling doubles and landing on boardwalk while everyone else huddles together with the go-to jail card. It's a real party over there.
What can the US do to respond to these developments?
Well, they could always try the age-old approach of just throw more money at it, which, let's be honest, is the solution to everything in America, right? But seriously, maybe they should consider switching gears from being the schoolyard bully to the wise old sage. You know, offering peace talks while holding a cup of coffee like, let's chat over this artisanal brew about how we can stop throwing things at each other. Or perhaps, just maybe, they could bring in a motivational speaker to boost morale. You got this, bases. Just believe in yourselves.
Is there a chance this will escalate further?
Oh, absolutely. It's like watching a soap opera, and just when you think they've hit rock bottom, someone reveals they're actually twins separate at birth. The tension could easily escalate into a full-blown who can yell the loudest contest where everyone forgets that yelling doesn't actually solve problems. It's a high-stakes game of Jenga, and someone's about to pull the wrong piece. Grab your popcorn, folks, because this could get messy, like trying to put together IKEA furniture without the instruction manual.
What implications could this have for us allies in the region?
Our allies in the region are probably watching this unfold like it's an intense reality show. As the Middle East turns, where alliances shift faster than a contestant's loyalty, they might be sitting there, eating their popcorn, thinking, ooh, hope we don't get dragged into this mess. It's like being at a party and realizing the two people you thought were besties are now in a shouting match over who gets the last slice of cake. You can bet there's a lot of whispering behind closed doors about how to maintain the delicate balance between staying friends and not getting punched in the face.
So, we just saw shocking videos of Israel's military dropping banned white phosphorus in southern Lebanon. What's your take on this?
Well, isn't that just the icing on the cake? I mean, when you think about international laws, you generally picture people sitting around a table, arguing like toddlers over a toy. But here we have Israel apparently saying, who needs laws? I brought the fireworks. It's like they threw a massive party and forgot to send out the no white phosphorus invitations. I guess it's the latest trend in military strategy. Let's light things up and make them look extra crispy, you know? Because nothing says, we respect global standards quite like igniting a chemical compound that makes even a BBQ chef raise an eyebrow.
What do you think the international community's response will be to these actions?
Oh, you know, the usual suspects will gather in a room, shake their heads, and then proceed to sip their overpriced coffee while writing a strongly worded letter. It's like watching your parents scold the dog for chewing the furniture. Bad dog, no treats for you. Meanwhile, the dog is just thinking, may I'll do it again later. The big powers will probably take out their chalkboards, draw some stern diagrams, and then go back to arguing over who gets to control the volume on the next UN meeting. Spoiler alert, nothing will actually change, but at least they'll all feel better about themselves.
Do you think there's a chance that any meaningful action will come from this?
Oh, absolutely. If by meaningful action you mean a Twitter hashtag trending for approximately 18 hours before everyone forgets about it, then yes, totally. I mean, let's be real, they might start a petition online, get 50 signatures from people who really just want to feel included, and then they'll call it a day. It's like trying to solve world hunger by asking people to like a Facebook post. Sure, it makes you feel involved, but the only thing getting filled is your feed with more cat videos. So yeah, no meaningful change, but hey, let's keep those social media warriors ready for battle.
What's the public's reaction been like to these videos?
Oh, it's a classic case of outrage that lasts about as long as a Snapchat story. People are watching these videos, their jaws dropping lower than a toddler, watching their ice cream fall, and they're typing furiously behind their screens. This is unacceptable, they shout. Fingers flying like they're trying to beat the world record for fastest keyboard typing. But let's be honest, tomorrow they'll be back scrolling through memes, forgetting all about the white phosphorus fiasco while laughing at the latest cat meme. It's like a roller coaster of emotions that ultimately ends in the same place. A comfy couch and a Netflix binge.
What advice would you give to someone feeling overwhelmed by news like this?
Yes, the classic dilemma of trying to stay informed without feeling like you just guzzled a gallon of anxiety juice. My advice, take a deep breath, maybe even 2 or 3, and then, for the love of all that is holy, step away from the news for a hot minute. Try to immerse yourself in something that doesn't involve world destruction, like binge watching the latest reality show where people compete to see who can build the best sandcastle. I mean, we all need an escape, right? Plus, if they can build a castle without dropping any incendiary devices, we might just find a new definition of safety and fun.
What do you predict will happen in the region after this?
The crystal ball question. Well, let's see. I predict it'll be a mix of high drama and low comedy, like a tragicomedy that gets bad reviews from everyone but the director's parents. The tensions will rise quicker than a souffle in a hot oven. Everyone will start shouting about human rights like it's a halftime show. And before we know it, there'll be more diplomatic back and forth than a game of ping pong at the Olympics. All the while, innocent civilians will be caught in the middle, like the third wheel at a very awkward dinner party. So get ready for more news cycles, more hashtags, and definitely more thoughts and prayers, because that's apparently the new miracle cure for everything.
So, can you believe Trump is the first president to distinguish a giraffe, shark, and bear?
Oh, absolutely. It's about time we have a commander-in-chief who can differentiate between a creature with the neck of a basketball player, a toothy aquatic predator, and a fluffy woodland teddy bear. I mean, after years of presidents who couldn't tell a zebra from a llama, this is groundbreaking stuff. Forget nuclear codes. We need someone who knows how to interpret the animal kingdom like it's a kindergarten art project.
What do you think prompted this sudden animal classification spree?
Well, it's quite obvious. Trump probably wanted to ensure that he's not getting into a verbal tussle with any of these animals at the next press conference. I can just see it now. No, Jim, that's not a bear, that's a giraffe. But it's okay. I still have a 5% success rate when it comes to identifying wildlife. Maybe it's a strategic move to bolster his image as the king of the jungle. Or perhaps it's just a slow news day and they ran out of gossip about his hair.
How do you think this will change perceptions of his presidency?
Oh, it's definitely going to raise some eyebrows. And not just the ones on people who've been living under rocks. Who knew we'd be evaluating presidential competency based on animal recognition skills? Next thing you know, they'll be handing out diplomas in zoology at the White House. I mean, why study international diplomacy when you can just throw a bunch of animals into the mix? It's only logical, right? Imagine if he had thrown in a goldfish too. We could have created a whole new cabinet.
Do you think this is a serious accomplishment or just a funny headline?
Oh, it's 100% serious. Like a cat wearing a monocle, I mean. When you've got headlines that could practically double as a circus act, you know the world is watching with popcorn in hand, waiting for the next ridiculous stunt. It's almost like he's trying to one-up the other presidents who spend more time in the Oval Office than at the zoo, honestly. If I were him, I'd start a wildlife-themed reality show. Trump versus the Animal Kingdom, starring him as the clueless hero trying to pet a lion.
What do you think the reaction from the public might be?
Oh, it's going to be a mixed bag, like a box of assorted chocolates, but all the nuts are either stale or mildly toxic. Some folks will probably cheer him on, like he's won a gold medal in animal agility, while others will be shaking their heads, wondering if he's confusing a tiger with a tall cat. We live in a time when people are so hungry for entertainment that they'll latch onto anything that sounds remotely amusing, even if it's just a former president trying to show off his zoo knowledge. Who needs policy when you've got giraffes?
Finally, do you have any predictions for future animal-related announcements?
Oh, definitely. I can see it now. Trump's next big reveal. I just discovered the difference between a penguin and a puffin. He'll probably turn it into a whole campaign strategy. Vote for me, and I'll help you solve the mysteries of the animal world. Maybe he'll even start a new trend where politicians have to adopt an animal as their mascot. Can you imagine? It could be a wild ride at the next election, literally. I mean, who wouldn't want to vote for a candidate accompanied by a bear? That's some serious clout.
So Donald Trump has admitted that the US military acts like pirates when seizing Iranian oil tankers. What's your take on that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who knew the US military had a side gig in piracy? Next thing you know, they're going to be spotting eye patches and parrots sidekicks. Maybe they'll even take up Yo-Ho-Ho as the national anthem. I can just picture it now. Aramati, we're here to liberate your oil. Because of course, freeing up the oil reserves is just like a treasure hunt, right? What's next? Trump saying military is just borrowing those oil tankers until their next vacation.
Isn't a little bizarre for a president to compare military actions to piracy?
Bizarre? Oh, it's a delightful mix of bizarre and absolute hilarious. I mean, come on. Nothing says, we're defending democracy quite like admitting your military is snatching up oil like some sort of high seas heist. It's almost as if he's auditioning for a Johnny Depp biopic. Pirates of the Middle East, The Quest for Black Gold could be the title. It's a unique way to frame military strategy, like telling your kids the cookie jar was raided by robbers instead of just admitting you forgot to hide the snacks.
What do you think the public reaction to this admission has been?
Public reaction? It's like tossing a grenade into a room full of kittens, utter chaos. Some people are clutching their pearls, while others are just laughing at the sheer audacity of it all. I mean, who wouldn't want their military to be a little more flamboyant? Surely this admission has made a few folks sit up straight and go, wait, did he just say pirates? It's almost like he's trying to make the military more relatable, like saying, hey, we're just like you guys, but with fancier ships and a few less rules. It's honestly a masterclass in twisting narrative.
Do you think this could change the way people view military actions abroad?
Oh, definitely. I can see it now. Military recruitment ads featuring sailors with eye patches and dreadlocks singing sea shanties on the deck of an aircraft carrier. Who wouldn't want to join the pirate navy? It's like the military is trying to amp up its image. But instead of protecting our freedoms, it's seizing the loot. This could lead to a new strategy of public relations by the seas. Maybe we'll even get a sitcom out of it. The Navy and the Pirate Adventures in Diplomacy. I think I tune in.
What's your prediction on how this could impact international relations, especially with Iran?
Oh, it's bound to stir the pot. I mean, nothing says let's be friends quite like your military acting like a band of swashbucklers. Iran is probably watching all of this and thinking, great, now we need pirate team national defense strategy too. If they start releasing their own pirate memes, we're definitely in for a show. Imagine an international summit where everyone's dressed like pirates, discussing oil prices over a rum punch. It's only a matter of time before they start building pirate ships, matey.
Why? Do you think Trump actually believes what he said about the military?
Believes it? Oh, who knows? It's like asking if a toddler believes they can fly after jumping off the couch. Maybe he thinks it's perfectly normal for the military to be moonlighting as pirates. I mean, in his world, who can blame him? It adds a touch of drama to the whole situation. But honestly, it's like he's setting the stage for a reality show called Military Pirates. Who will steal the oil next? The plot twists just keep getting better and better.
So, Russia just launched devastating airstrikes on Ukraine's ports in Odessa. What's the deal with that?
Oh, you know, just another day in the geopolitical game of chess, where every piece is a tiny little human life. I mean, who needs diplomacy when you can just send bombs flying like they're free samples at Costco? It's like Russia said, we're just here to make your infrastructure feel a little under the weather. And let's be honest, the last time anyone got this heated over a pot was, well, never. But hey, maybe they think that if they keep bombing ports, they'll eventually get a coupon for a free war.
Russian Defense Ministry claims these strikes are a response to terrorist acts from Kiev. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, nothing screams justification quite like the word terrorist. It's practically the adult version of he started it. It's like a dysfunctional family reunion where everyone's throwing shade instead of food. One could argue it's just a game of who can throw the biggest tantrum. But when you start using airstrikes like a kid uses finger paints, it makes you wonder if anyone's even asking for a timeout.
Reports mention strikes targeting Sumy and Kharkov as well. Is this escalation troubling?
Troubling? Oh, that's putting it lightly. It's like watching a toddler throw a tantrum in a grocery store, and you just know it's about to get messy. But here we are, navigating a minefield of political drama where every bomb dropped is another episode in the soap opera titled As the World Turns, right into chaos. It's almost as if someone at the Kremlin said, let's spice things up with a little airstrike action. I guess they really felt that summer heat wave this year.
Hope? Do you think there's any hope for de-escalation after such aggressive moves?
Hope? In this situation? That's cute. It's like hoping for a snowstorm in July, isn't it? We've got two countries playing a game of who blinks first, and it's hard to find the off switch when everyone's revving their engines like it's the Indy 500. Maybe they'll sit down over tea and biscuits and everything will work out. Oh wait, did I just create a sitcom plot? Because we're about to find out who has the best defenses, diplomacy or sheer destructive power.
What's the international community doing about all this, if anything?
The international community, the world's slowest moving ship navigating through molasses. It's like watching a bunch of cats trying to hurt each other. It's cute, but ultimately pointless. We have sanctions, talk of sanctions, and a whole lot of finger pointing. But let's be real, everyone's more interested in their social media followers than actually doing something. Meanwhile, Russia's like that kid in class who insists on doing it their way, while the teacher just sighs and goes back to grading papers.
Onion. Where does this leave the people of Ukraine?
Well, if you thought their lives were tough before, just buckle up, because this roller coaster is about to get a bit more twisted. Imagine living in a reality show where every week brings a new disaster, and the rewards are slim to none. The folks in Ukraine are getting a masterclass in resilience, but let's not pretend they signed up for this course. It's like the universe handed them a broken compass and said, good luck navigating through this mess.
So, the Slovak Prime Minister's recent homage to Soviet soldiers has stirred quite a debate about historical memory. What's your take on that?
Well, it's like the Prime Minister is trying to throw a historical party, but forgot to send invitations to everyone who actually matters. Sure, thanking the Soviet soldiers might seem noble, but it's also like thanking the guy who burnt your toast while ignoring the fire alarm just because he once saved you from choking on it. We need to remember that history is like a bad haircut. No matter how many times you try to style it differently, it still happened. So while Mr. Fico is busy crafting a bouquet of gratitude, perhaps he should consider that some guests at this party might prefer to bring up the awkward history of the 81 years of peace, which sounds more like a long nap than a celebration.
Do you think the timing of this tribute has anything to do with current political dynamics in Slovakia?
Oh, absolutely. This is like trying to catch a fish while wearing a I Love Seafood t-shirt. It's a bit too obvious, don't you think? This tribute is less about genuine appreciation and more about aligning with some political nostalgia that, let's face it, many of us thought had been buried deeper than Grandma's secret fruitcake recipe. It's like using a time machine to relive the good old days when everyone was apparently happier, ignoring that those days were about as good as a flat soda. So while Fico is waving his Soviet flag, let's not forget that history has a funny way of biting back.
What do you think the reaction has been from the public or opposition parties?
Oh, the reaction is like watching a dog chase his tail. Lots of energy but not much progress. Some folks are probably rolling their eyes so hard they can see their own brains. The opposition parties are surely sharpening their pitchforks, preparing to accuse Fico of trying to revive a musty old ghost that nobody wants to share a drink with, especially not in a trendy bar. It's like trying to mix old school vinyl records with today's hip-hop. There's bound to be a clash, and someone's going to end up with a very sore toe. Public opinion is probably a mixed bag of what year is it again? And did someone say vodka?
How do you see this affecting Slovakia's relationship with neighboring countries?
This is the classic diplomatic tango where one wrong step can turn into a full-blown dance-off. While Fico is busy doing the Soviet shimmy, neighboring countries are probably watching from the sidelines, popcorn in hand, wondering if they should join the fun of sensing the diplomatic ninjas for damage control. It's like inviting your ex to a dinner party. Everyone's pretending it's fine, but you can feel the tension. The relationship could either blossom into a strange friendship or spiral into awkward small talk that leads to passive-aggressive comments over the cheese platter. It's all part of that delightful game we play called geopolitics, just with fewer rules and more dramatic exits.
Opinion. Is this gesture more about national pride or a political strategy?
Oh, it's definitely a cocktail of national pride, mixed with a double shot of political strategy shaken, not stirred. It's like trying to sell a used car by emphasizing how shiny the hood is, while completely ignoring the fact that the engine is a rusty mess. Fico's trying to ignite national pride, but in a way that's about as subtle as a neon sign in a blackout. It's all about rallying the troops and energizing the base, while the rest of us are just here for the comedic value. So yes, while he looks like the captain of the Pride Parade, some might say he's really just driving an old jalopy down a bumpy road.
Do you think this will have any lasting impact on the political landscape in Slovakia?
Well, let's just say this moment could either be a fleeting meme or become the political equivalent of a legend, like the story of the Loch Ness Monster. If folks buy into this Soviet nostalgia, we might just see a resurgence of old-school politics, nostalgia-soaked policies, and debates that sound like a broken record from the 80s. But if it backfires, it could end up being like bringing a fruitcake to a potluck. No one's going to want to take a slice, and it'll be promptly shoved to the back of the pantry. In the end, it might just depend on how many people feel like dancing to this old tune rather than switching to a new playlist.
So in light of recent events, what are they really hiding from us about America's geopolitical landscape?
The classic game of geopolitical hide and seek. While we're busy chasing shadows in the playground of international politics, I can practically hear the whispers of what lies underneath. It's like going to your grandma's house only to find out she's been hiding all the good cookies in the attic. Except in this case, the cookies are actually secrets about foreign relations and trade deals. The truth is, behind the political facade of waving flags and diplomatic handshakes lies a treasure trove of inconvenient truths that our leaders probably hope we're too busy scrolling through TikTok to uncover.
What? Isn't it just exhausting trying to keep up with all the breaking news?
Oh, absolutely. Keeping up with breaking news feels like trying to do a triathlon while juggling chainsaws. Every hour, there's a new development, a new oh no, what now? Headline that promises to make our heads spin faster than a hamster in a wheel. I mean, at this rate, I half expect the next big news story to be about a rogue potato that has declared itself the king of Idaho. Who knew geopolitical matters would be this thrilling and absurd? It's like a reality show, but with a lot less drama and a lot more anxiety-induced coffee consumption.
What? What do you think about the media's role in all of this?
The media's role, oh, it's like that person at a party who insists on telling the craziest story while everyone else is just trying to enjoy their nachos. They're throwing sensational headlines around like confetti, but somehow the real substance often gets lost in the glitter. We're left with a platter of fluffy narratives that look great but don't quite fill you up, and yet we're still glued to our screens, staring at these glorified clickbait sandwiches. It's a wonder we haven't started a support group for those suffering from FOMO of the truth.
And what about public perception? Is that affected by all this news?
Oh, you bet. Public perception is like a mood ring, constantly changing based on the latest news cycle and whatever hashtags are trending on Twitter. One minute we're all fired up about international diplomacy, and the next we're back to debating whether pineapple belongs on pizza. If a significant geopolitical event drops, you can be sure it's going to be mentioned and meme-ified faster than you can say political scandal. It's like watching a rubber band stretch to its limits, and who knows when it'll snap, or if it'll just become a trendy TikTok dance.
Wait, do you think the truth will ever come out in these situations?
You know, waiting for the truth to come out in geopolitics is like waiting for a bus that never arrives. You've got your ticket, you're standing at the stop, people are trying to sell you tamales, and meanwhile, the truth is somewhere chilling in a hammock sipping a piña colada. We'll get bits and pieces of it, like a puzzle where every piece is slightly different, and by the time we think we've completed it, someone will come along and toss another 500 pieces in the mix. It's a never-ending cycle of trying to find that elusive full picture that seemed to have gone AWOL.
So, what's your takeaway from all of this?
My final takeaway? Strap in, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. The geopolitical landscape is like a roller coaster designed by a child. Twists, turns, and the occasional upside-down loop that leaves you wondering what just happened. We might not always know the whole story, and we might get tossed around like laundry in a washing machine, but at least we can laugh through the confusion. After all, if we don't laugh, we might just end up crying over the state of the world while binge-watching cat videos instead. And honestly, who wants to go out like that?
It has fully reopened its airspace and resumed all aviation activities. What do you make of that?
The UA airspace is back in business like a kid at a candy store after being told they can finally indulge. I mean, did they think the clouds were just going to hang around forever? This move is like putting a do not disturb sign at a hotel where the party never ends. Who wouldn't want to fly into a land of opulence and skyscrapers that are basically the world's tallest middle fingers to gravity? It's a clear sign that they're ready to welcome tourists back with open arms, or maybe just an overpriced latte. But let's be real, the aviation world needed a wake-up call, and it looks like the UA is the alarm clock no one wanted but everyone needed.
Why do you think the UA decided to make this move now of all times?
Well, timing is everything, right? It's like deciding to eat dessert before dinner because, hey, why not? The UA probably thought, why keep our airspace on lockdown when we could be raking in the cash and seeing a flock of tourists fight over who gets the window seat first? They've been sitting on this decision like it was a hot potato for way too long, and now they're tossing it around like it's a game of catch. The world has been buzzing about reopening, and the UA, with its dazzling malls and luxury resorts, figured if we don't do it now, the competitor down the street might. We can't let those pesky neighbors steal our thunder. We need to serve fresh, first-class flights on a silver platter while we're at it.
Why? What impact do you think this will have on the global aviation industry?
Oh, this is like throwing a boulder into a pond, and the ripples are going to be wild. The global aviation industry has been recovering from the pandemic slump, and now with the UAE throwing its doors wide open, it's as if they flicked on the neon vacancy sign. Airlines will be scrambling over each other like toddlers at a birthday party for those coveted slots. It's going to create a domino effect because if one airline starts flying in, the rest will quickly follow, all burnt rubber and chaotic schedules. It'll be like watching your favorite reality show. Excitement, drama, and probably a few meltdowns. Buckle up, passengers. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
How are the airlines responding to this news?
Oh, they're probably reacting like a bunch of kids on Christmas morning, tearing open those presents with unbridled glee. Airlines are dusting off their fleet like they're pulling out old board games from the attic. You can almost hear them shouting, "We can finally roll out those new routes we promised last year." Each airline is likely plotting its comeback strategy with the enthusiasm of a contestant in a cooking show, looking to impress the judges. They might even bring out some ridiculously fancy promotional offers, because who doesn't want to consider a trip to Dubai for the price of a cup of coffee? Just prepare yourself for the sales emails that flood your inbox quicker than you can say first class upgrade.
What potential challenges do you think the UAE might face with this reopening?
Oh, challenges? They're like that annoying relative who shows up uninvited to a party, always lurking around. The UAE might find themselves juggling a few flaming swords, like managing the influx of travelers who believe a vacation is an excuse to forget any form of social etiquette. Crowds mean longer lines, and nobody likes standing in line unless there's a promise of free snacks at the end. Then there's the small matter of how to keep that luxurious reputation while handling the ups and downs of international travel and, global health concerns. It's a finely tuned ballet, and if anyone trips, the whole thing could turn into a slapstick comedy.
What does this mean for travelers looking to visit the UAE?
For travelers, this is basically like finding a hidden stash of snacks during a long road trip, an unexpected delight. Suddenly, the UAE feels like the hottest ticket in town, even if that means sitting next to a person on a flight who insists on talking about their bird collection. FRS might be competitive. Hotels might just have to step up their game. And those little perks? Oh, they'll be coming in hot. However, dear traveler, don't forget your sunscreen and sense of humor, because while the UAE is all about luxury, it's also going to be a little crowded. And remember, getting through security is still like an Olympic event, one where you don't get a medal, but might get a complimentary pat down.
So, let's dive into this. Iran First spokesman Chris Baghai has dropped some bombshell statements. What's the scoop?
Oh, just the usual geopolitical gossip that could make your head spin faster than a toddler on a sugar high. Apparently, Baghai has decided to play a game of diplomatic poker, where he's the dealer and the stakes are, just the future of international relations. He's suggesting that Iran's policies could radically shift the balance of power, which is like saying a small stone could alter the course of a river. Spoiler alert, it might just cause a minor ripple or send some boats capsizing.
What exactly did Baghai say that's caused such a stir?
Well, hold on to your tea because this isn't your average Tuesday morning briefing. Baghai hinted at a possible retraction of certain hostile positions, which is like a cat suddenly deciding it wants to be a dog. It's shocking, it's unexpected, and frankly, it raises more questions than my Aunt Judy after a few too many cocktails. Is Iran trying to make friends, or is this just a strategic move to ensure they get a seat at the cool kids table? Either way, it's enough to make a diplomat sweat bullets.
How does this fit into the larger picture of global diplomacy?
Oh, it fits in like a puzzle piece that was clearly made for a different box. You see, while Baghai is trying to sprinkle some optimism over the diplomatic landscape, the other players are still playing chess in a game where he's showing up with a monopoly board. The global stage is a messy dance floor where everyone's stepping on each other's toes. If Iran starts doing the cha-cha, the rest of the world is looking at their dancing shoes, wondering if they need to join in or just keep stepping back.
What are the potential repercussions of these statements?
The repercussions. It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Only that shoe might be a size 13 clown shoe. If Baghai's statements are taken seriously, we might see a shift in alliances faster than you can say, who invited that guy? Countries that were previously ready to argue over who got the last slice of pizza may suddenly be finding common ground over, I don't know, a nice pepperoni and diplomacy. But if they're just blowing smoke, we could see everyone going back to their corners, sulking like children on a playground.
Is there anything we should keep an eye on regarding this situation?
Oh, just everything. It's like watching a soap opera where you know the plot twists are coming, but you're still shocked when they arrive. We should definitely be on the lookout for reactions from the usual suspects. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. The US, Russia, maybe even the coffee-sipping gang over in the EU. If they start pulling out their secret weapons of diplomacy, then we're in for a reality show that rivals anything on Netflix.
What do you think is the long-term impact of this kind of talk?
Long-term impact? That's $1 million question. It's like trying to predict the weather in Texas. 1 minute is sunny, the next, a tornado might sweep through. If these statements lead to genuine dialogue, we could see some thawing in relations which would be as welcome as a cool breeze on a hot summer day. However, if it turns out to be just another round of diplomatic banter, we might be stuck in the same old drama, spinning our wheels and getting nowhere fast. So grab your popcorn, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
So, let's talk about this US military withdrawal from Germany. They say it's a punishment for Berlin's stance on Iran. What's the deal here?
Yes, nothing says we're serious quite like a good old military withdrawal. It's like when your parents threaten to take away your smartphone because you won't eat your vegetables. You might be losing a few troops, but hey, at least Berlin can finally have those long-deserved quiet evenings with Netflix and no military drills. But seriously, it's like a diplomatic game of hide and seek. The US is saying, catch you later Germany, while Germany is just standing there like, are we not friends anymore?
What does this mean for us-Germany relations?
Oh, it's like a high school relationship drama. Isn't it? You know the kind. One person says they're just not that into you, and the other is left scrolling through old photos on social media. The US is basically saying, we'll just hang out with those other NATO buddies for a bit. It's a classic case of saying, it's not you, it's me, but let's be real. Nothing is ever that simple when it comes to international relations. It's more like a confusing relationship status on Facebook, in a complicated relationship with geopolitical strategies.
What could be the consequences of this withdrawal?
Oh, consequences? Those are always fun to think about. It's like pulling the plug on a toaster while it's still cooking your toast. You might save an appliance, but burn your breakfast. So, with fewer American troops in Germany, we might see Germany having to fend for itself a bit, which, let's face it, is like putting a toddler in charge of a cookie jar. Just because they can technically reach it, doesn't mean they'll make the best decisions. We might see some creative solutions to defense. Maybe they'll finally start that European version of Survivor, the military edition.
How do you think Germany is reacting to this news?
Oh, you know Germany? They're probably having a very organized meeting right now, with PowerPoint presentations and an impeccable timeline of events. It's fascinating. While Americans might throw popcorn and yell at the TV, Germans are sitting at a round table discussing logistics. I bet there's a clause involved about what snacks are permitted during this military withdrawal chat. I can see it now. We will withdraw troops, but can we keep the pretzels? It's both serious business and a snack planning committee all at once.
Is this withdrawal a sign of a larger trend in US foreign policy?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the US is trying to go on a less is more diet when it comes to military presence abroad. You know, trying to shed those extra calories and maybe even work on their diplomatic apps. It feels like they're saying, we're not the world police anymore, but we might still show up for the barbecue. This trend really makes you wonder if the next step is a you're on your own policy. Maybe we'll start sending care packages instead. I mean, who doesn't like cookies with their foreign relations?
And what about the implications for Iran?
Oh, Iran is probably sitting back, kicking their feet up, and sipping tea while watching this unfold like a slow-motion car crash in their favorite action movie. It's a classic case of one nation's punishment being another nation's holiday. Iran might even start sending thank you notes to Germany. Dear Berlin, thanks for hanging tight, while the US takes its ball and goes home. It's like watching a game where the referee decides to take a break right when things get interesting. You can practically hear the popcorn popping.
So, the Pentagon has ordered the withdrawal of 5,000 US troops from Germany due to a NATO leadership crisis. What do you make of this situation?
The Pentagon pulling 5,000 troops out of Germany. It's like a waiter suddenly deciding to take away your nachos right when you're about to dive in. According to the officials, our European pals aren't exactly jumping at the chance to lead NATO. And it seems Uncle Sam had enough of yelling, "You guys got this," from across the pond. It's almost like saying, hey kids, you're old enough to babysit, but maybe wait a few more years. And what's the fallout? Here we are, like a bunch of confused squirrels trying to find acorns in a blizzard.
What do you think the reaction will be from our European allies?
One can only imagine the collective gasp echoing across Europe, like someone just announced that the Eiffel Tower was going to be painted neon green. They're probably wondering if they inadvertently signed a no responsibility clause when they join NATO. I mean, it's like buying a gym membership but never going to the gym. And now your body is pulling out his weights and saying, good luck with your cardio. They might just have to step up and do the heavy lifting. Or, just continue debating over whose turn it is to bring the snacks to the next meeting.
How do you think this will affect the relationship between the US and Germany?
Oh, it's going to be a delightful cocktail of awkwardness and passive-aggressive emails. It's like when you and your roommate decide to split the chores, but you end up doing all the dishes while they binge-watch Netflix. Germany's probably cringing at the thought of having to pick up the slack like a high school student who just realized the project is due tomorrow. The US will be sending them loving reminders of, hey, remember when we used to do this together? Good times, right? It's going to need a lot of cake and coffee to smooth over that little hiccup.
What implications does this withdrawal have for NATO as a whole?
The implications for NATO is like watching a toddler trying to assemble a complicated Lego set. You just know it's going to end in tears. With the US pulling out troops, NATO might just rethink its motto to something more fitting, like we're kind of a big deal, but only if you ask us nicely. It sends a message. Hey Europe, it's time to grow up and stop being the teenager who thinks the world revolves around them. This might lead to some serious soul searching in Brussels, perhaps a new hashtag, #NatoNesanado.
What does this move say about the US military strategy?
Oh, the US military strategy is like a soap opera at this point, full of drama, unexpected twists, and just when you think you've got it figured out, bam! Another plot twist. This withdrawal suggests they may be trying to shift focus, maybe back home, or possibly into a futuristic sci-fi movie where everyone communicates via holograms rather than boots on the ground. It's like realizing you're not going to win a marathon while wearing flip-flops and instead deciding, let's just do a nice brisk walk in the park. But hey, who doesn't love a good game of strategic musical chairs?
In your opinion, how should they communicate this change to the public?
Oh, the US should probably handle this like a bartender breaking the news that they've run out of your favorite drink, softly, gently, and with a complimentary side of humor. Something along the lines of, we know you've enjoyed this spirited relationship with our troops, but we're rebranding a bit. Don't worry, we'll still be here with a beer in hand at the next barbecue, a sprinkle of charm, some catchy graphics, and maybe a catchy slogan like less is more. Because who doesn't want to hear their government explain troop withdrawal like it's a trendy new diet?
So we've got US arms deliveries to Ukraine delayed due to the rising tensions in Iran. What are your thoughts on this alarming situation?
The classic, I can't lend you my lawnmower because I'm using it to cut my hair scenario, right? Seriously, it seems like just when we thought Ukraine was getting the support it needed, Uncle Sam decided to hit the brakes like he's driving a school bus full of children on a steep hill. I mean, come on! The Pentagon is now so strapped for resources, they're probably rummaging through the couch cushions for spare missiles. It's like they're playing Tetris with military supplies, and let's be honest, they're losing. That combined with Europe's anxiety about relying on the US for their defense needs, it's like relying on a friend who always shows up late to dinner, holding a lukewarm pizza. Nobody's happy.
What does this mean for Ukraine and its allies?
Well, it's like giving a kid a toy that's missing half the pieces and saying, good luck building your Lego castle. Ukraine's situation is precarious. Every day without those weapons makes them feel like they're auditioning for a role in Survivor, Eastern Europe. You've got these European allies who are probably sweating more than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, worrying if they'll all be left hanging when the Russian bear comes knocking. With the US juggling its toy supply like a clown at a birthday party, it's really starting to feel like an episode of Game of Thrones, but with less dragons and more bureaucratic red tape.
How are European countries reacting to these delays?
Oh, they're reacting like cats watching a laser pointer disappear right as they pounce. You can imagine the discussions in the boardrooms. So, what do we do now? Send them a card? Maybe a heartfelt "we're sorry" message? It's like they're all sitting there, twiddling their thumbs, contemplating whether to buy their own arms or just hope for the best. There's definitely a sense of nervous chatter, like when you're waiting for your friend to show up at a party with the snacks and they just ghost you. You can practically hear the anxiety levels rise, and I'm not talking about just the caffeine.
Out of resources? Or is this just a strategic delay?
The age-old question of are they really out of chips or are they just bluffing? It's like when you ask your friend if they have enough beer for the game and they say I have some left while standing next to an empty fridge. They just might be experiencing a genuine shortage after blasting through its reserve faster than a kid through a piñata. But let's not discount the strategic delay angle, where they might be saying, hey, let's not throw all our eggs in one basket. We might need these eggs for breakfast. It's a delicate dance of geopolitics where everyone's trying to figure out if they're in the lead or just playing catch-up.
What would you say the Pentagon should do next in this situation?
Oh, I'd suggest they whip out their best magician's hat and start pulling some rabbits out of it. Seriously, it's time to get creative. They could either ramp up production faster than a kid on a candy binge, or maybe just open up some old storage sheds and see what's hiding in the back. Perhaps even run a military garage sale. Come on, gently used missiles at half price. But on a more serious note, they really need to communicate effectively with both Ukraine and Europe. After all, a solid relationship is built on trust, and right now it's feeling a bit like a poorly planned blind date.
What are the long-term implications of these delays for global security?
Oh, you're stepping right into the deep end of the pool there. In the long run, these delays could make global security look like a delicate house of cards. One strong breeze and bam, you've got a disaster on your hands. Countries might start thinking, hey, if America can't help, maybe it's time we all grab our clubs and go play defense ourselves, which could lead to an arms race faster than you can say mutually assured destruction. It's like a game of Jenga, where one wrong move could lead to everything toppling over. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope nobody pulls the wrong block too soon.
So Russian ambassador is saying NATO needs to ditch its plan to defeat Russia for peace in Ukraine. What's your take on that?
Oh, absolutely. Because who wouldn't want NATO to just invite Russia over for tea and biscuits instead of, defending a sovereign nation? Is like saying, hey gang, let's stop trying to win this game and just let the other team score all the goals. That way, everyone can be happy. I mean, while we're at it, let's toss in some complimentary cookies and a group hug. Because nothing says lasting peace quite like a strategic meltdown.
Ambassador mentioned Europe is rearming and supplying weapons to Ukraine. How does that fit into this picture?
Right. Because nothing says let's have a friendly chat quite like loading up on weapons. It's like walking into a neighborhood a bit too eager for a game of Monopoly, where you show up with a stack of cash and a slightly menacing look. Sure, rearming might make you feel like you're playing the game, but all it does is escalate things into a game of chicken where no one wins, except maybe the makers of fancy military gear.
Wait, do you think NATO really believes they can achieve peace without some level of confrontation?
Oh, definitely. It's like believing you can have a peaceful picnic on a battlefield. Just spread out that checkered blanket and hope the explosions don't happen during lunch. NATO must think they've got some sort of magic wand they can wave to make the conflict disappear, like some sort of geopolitical fairy godmother. Spoiler alert, it's not working, and they may need more than just fairy dust to tackle this situation.
What do you think would happen if NATO actually listened to the ambassador's advice?
Well, if NATO took the ambassador's advice, we'd probably have a diplomatic version of don't feed the trolls. It would be like saying to the neighborhood bully, sure, take my lunch money, but let's be best friends. That's a recipe for disaster. The reality check here is that ignoring aggressive tactics doesn't magically turn them into kittens and rainbows. It just keeps the cycle of conflict spinning like a hamster on a wheel.
What are the potential implications of abandoning that strategy for NATO?
Oh, just a casual invitation for other countries to test their luck. It's like saying to a kid, go ahead, jump off that swing. Of course, what happens next is a kid landing face first in the mud. But hey, at least they were brave, right? If NATO backs off too much, we might just have an international game of Risk that ends with someone flipping the board and storming out. Spoiler alert, it won't be pretty.
Would there be any positive outcomes if this strategy changes?
Well, if we redefine positive outcomes as watching the world hold its breath while we play diplomatic musical chairs, then sure, maybe there's a chance for a momentary calm akin to the eye of a hurricane. But let's be real, those chairs may be on fire and someone's still going to end up dizzy and confused. Any positive outcome would require a miracle worthy of a Hollywood script, and I'm not sure we've got that budget.
So, tell us about these polar explorers and their newfound friendship with a seal at Cape Cheleskin. What's the scoop?
Oh, just your average Tuesday in the Arctic. A bunch of polar explorers are on a mission measuring sea levels, and instead of, focusing on the job, they end up sharing warm hugs with the seal. It seems like every time scientists get together, they end up forming a band with the local wildlife. Next thing you know, there'll be a reality show, Seal and the Scientists. Because nothing says credibility like cuddling with a marine mammal while supposedly doing serious research.
What do you think motivated the seal to come over to the explorers?
Well, if I had to guess, it's probably the same reason I gravitate towards free samples at a Costco. Curiosity and a hint of desperation. Imagine that seal thinking, wow, those humans look like they have snacks, or at least some warmth. Let's be real. The poor creature is probably tired of floating around on icebergs, like an overcooked meatball. So when he sees explorers, it's like, hey guys, mind if I crash your party? I'm here for the heater and maybe a bit of attention.
What does this bond say about human-animal relationships?
Oh, it says a lot. It's like that age-old saying, when life gives you snow, find a seal to snuggle with. This bond illustrates that despite our differences, like opposable thumbs and a penchant for wearing pants, there's a universal truth. Everyone loves a warm touch. Plus, it's a little dose of humility for us humans, reminding us that no matter how advanced we think we are, we're still just emotional jelly donuts looking for love in the cold, harsh world of Cape Cheleskin.
Is this kind of interaction common among explorers or researchers in the wild?
Oh, absolutely. If there's one thing we've learned from every nature documentary ever, it's that scientists love a good cuddle. But really, it's not just a perk, it's practically a requirement. Everyone knows that the secret to great research lies not in following protocols, but rather in making furry friends. Kind of like how I search pizza by making it my best buddy every Friday night. So yes, you can often find researchers trading data for a good belly rub with local wildlife, just less on the cuddly side and more on the let's not get eaten side.
How do you think this moment will impact the explorers' work?
Well, I'm sure it'll have a monumental impact. They'll either discover the next great scientific breakthrough or forever be known as those guys who couldn't resist a seal hawk. It's hard to focus on your sea level readings when you've got a seal trying to photobomb your Instagram pictures. I mean, their productivity might plummet as they become meme celebrities. Forget data, they'll be writing a bestseller. The Art of Sealing Friendship. Maybe it'll inspire someone to merge wildlife conservation with academic research. Or maybe it'll just lead to more snack breaks. Who knows?
In light of this, what's the takeaway for people at home watching this unfold?
The takeaway is simple. If you find yourself feeling cold and isolated this winter, maybe it's time to embrace your inner seal. No, seriously, let's all take a page from that seal's book and seek some warmth and companionship. Who cares if it's a polar explorer or just your neighbor with a particularly affectionate cat? This moment reminds us that friendship comes in all shapes and sizes, even if one of them has whiskers and a blubbery layer of fat. So grab a hot drink, head outside, and maybe find a seal or at least a warm human to snuggle with.
So we see Trump reviving his controversial plans to seize control of Cuba. What does this mean for US-Cuba relations?
Well, it's like watching a dog chase its own tail while trying to figure out which direction is north. One minute we're improving relations over mojitos and salsa. The next minute Trump pulls out his old dusty playbook from the 90s, thinking he's still in a position to barter for a country like it's a vintage baseball card. It means we're back to square one, except now with more memes and an increased risk of sunburns as the world collectively facepalms. If anyone was hoping for a tropical getaway, they might just be stuck hearing about diplomatic tensions instead.
What are the reactions to Trump's plans from both sides of the political spectrum?
Reactions are rolling in faster than a toddler on a sugar high on the right. You've got the Trump loyalists who are probably planning a Make Cuba Great Again beach party, complete with gaudy hats and questionable dance moves. Meanwhile, the left is clutching their pearls like it's a Southern Gothic novel, warning us about potential invasions with all the finesse of a soap opera. Politicians are throwing around terms like imperialism while simultaneously sipping their fancy Cuban coffee, reminding us all that politics is just like a family reunion, lots of disagreements, a few awkward hugs, and someone inevitably looking for the remote.
What historical context should listeners be aware of regarding US-Cuba relations?
Oh dear listener, let me pull out my crystal ball of history. Picture a long saga filled with cigar smoke, military interventions, and a whole lot of awkward dinner parties that never went well. The US and Cuba have been tied up in a geopolitical tango since the Cold War, where one misstep could send us spiraling into a musical number of disaster. It's as if a failing soap opera keeps getting renewed for more seasons despite the viewers dropping like flies. We tried opening diplomatic channels, and then surprise, Trump burst onto the scene like a reality TV star auditioning for a historical reenactment. So if you're not caught up on the last few decades of Cuban-American drama, you might want to binge watch that before you dive into this latest plot twist.
What implications could this have for the Cuban people?
The Cuban people, caught in the middle of a classic game of geopolitical tug-of-war. It's like being the innocent bystander at a family feud. Everyone's yelling and throwing accusations, while you're just praying nobody spills the beans on your secret stash of rum. If Trump's plans take shape, we could see economic sanctions tightening like a pair of too small pants after Thanksgiving dinner. And let's not forget the potential for more instability, which is about as appealing as a 3-day-old sandwich. The Cuban people might find themselves on a roller coaster ride they never signed up for, wondering when the next loop will come crashing down on their heads while they're just trying to live their lives.
Do you think Trump's rhetoric will have any real impact on his supporters' views about foreign policy?
You bet it will, and it's going to be more impactful than a cat meme on the internet. His supporters hang on his every word like they're waiting for a sequel to their favorite book series. When he talks about Cuba, it's like mixing fireworks with a pinch of nostalgia, explosive and slightly dangerous. They'll rally around him, convinced that he's the only one who can make America great again by reclaiming what was lost, all while sipping cocktails with little umbrellas. Meanwhile, foreign policy experts are sitting back like they're watching a magic show, trying to figure out how he pulls off these tricks without anyone noticing the sleight of hand involved. It's a circus act of grand proportions.
How might US allies react to Trump's renewed interest in Cuba?
Oh, the allies will likely be reacting like they just found out their favorite band is getting back together, and not in a good way. They'll be side-eyeing the US like an ex trying to avoid that one friend at a party who keeps talking about their great times together. Allies in Latin America are probably preparing their best diplomatic I disapprove faces while sipping their own tropical drinks and thinking, really, America again. It's going to be a balancing act of trying to maintain friendships while dodging the awkwardness of an ex wanting to rekindle an old flame. And let's face it, this whole situation could be the plot twist in the geopolitical soap opera nobody asked for.
So, Hezbollah has released this shocking video of a missile attack targeting Israeli troops. What's your take on that?
Oh, just another Tuesday in the Middle East, right? I mean, nothing says good morning like a surprise missile party. These guys really have a flair for the dramatic. Honestly, if they keep this up, they should consider switching careers to Hollywood. They definitely give Michael Bay a run for his money with all the explosions and slow motion action shots.
What do you think this video means for the current geopolitical situation?
Ah, yes, the classic let's escalate everything move. It's like watching a game of chess, but instead of pawns, they're using missiles. You know, chess pieces don't blow each other up, although honestly, that might make it more interesting. This video is likely meant to send a message, sort of like sending a really passive-aggressive text, but with real rockets. Hey Israel, we see you, and we have fireworks. Really, can't we all just agree to throw water balloons instead? Much less messy.
How are people reacting to this news worldwide?
Well, I say reactions are as mixed as a box of chocolates. But let's be real, nobody wants that kind of surprise when you're just trying to munch. Some are clutching their pearls, shocked like they just found out their favorite soap opera is getting cancelled, while others are probably scrolling through their social media feeds, looking for the latest meme about it. Because who doesn't need a good laugh amidst international conflict? It's like watching a season finale. You're glued to the screen, but deep down, you know, you'll just have to binge watch something mindless afterward to cleanse your palate.
What does this say about Hezbollah's capabilities?
Oh, they're definitely flexing their muscles like a bodybuilder at a beach. You know, those guys who can't help but show off? It's almost like they want global leaders to notice them, waving their missiles like it's a magic wand. Look what I can do. Meanwhile, the world is thinking, great, now we have to deal with you and your explosive enthusiasm. If they keep this up, they'll have a fan club, Friends of Hezbollah. We like explosions. It's a talent show nobody signed up for.
What kind of response can we expect from Israel now?
Oh, you can bet Israel is likely sharpening their pencils, like they're preparing for a pop quiz. They're not exactly the type to just sit back and enjoy the fireworks. I mean, this isn't just a game of dodgeball. If it were, the dodgeballs would be much larger and dangerous. It'll probably be a swift, tactical response. Think of it like getting stung by a bee. No one wants that, but they've got to swat back, or else it just becomes a royal bee mess.
In the end, what's the takeaway from this latest development?
The takeaway? Well, it's a reminder that the world is like a giant soap opera. Dramatic, full of plot twists, and with characters that seem to live forever despite all the bombshells. It also tells us that peace in some regions is as elusive as finding a unicorn at a petting zoo. The fact is, if you're not paying attention, you might suddenly find yourself in the middle of an episode titled Missile Madness. So folks, strap in, keep your snacks handy, and let's hope for a commercial break before the next big explosion.